Georgia Tech at Georgia. The Ramblin' Wreck and the Dogs. Two schools separated by only 73 miles that do not show each other a lot of Southern hospitality. It began in the Heisman era and continues over a century later. Knowshon Moreno, number 24, is putting up numbers reminiscent of old number 34. While Matthew Stafford has everyone celebrating on the way to a possible SEC title. Tashard Choice has got his sights set on ending the Georgia winning streak. Get ready for a hell of a game. From Atlanta, ESPN's presentation of college football on ABC is presented by Best Buy. And our matchup, the SEC and the ACC getting together again. It's the 7th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs against the Ramblin' Wreck of Georgia Tech here at Bobby Dodd Stadium. Welcome to Atlanta, everybody. I'm Brad Nessler. Well, they get ready to do this thing for the 103rd time. And it means a lot to both teams. For Georgia, a win puts them in a BCS bowl. For Georgia Tech, it puts them in a better bowl, and it probably makes a little more job security for head coach Chan Gailey. Because when you look at the contrast between these two coaches, you look at Mark Richt on one hand, he's 6-0 against Georgia Tech. Chan Gailey, 0-5. On one side, that's good. On the other side, that's not so good. I bring in one of my partners, Bob Greasy. Let's talk about the team right now that's as hot as any team in the country. Mark Richt's got Georgia playing very, very well.
Well, Brad, being an old quarterback, my concern are those 4 offensive starters on the offense. 3 in the offensive line. The running back is a freshman, and the sophomore quarterback, Matthew Stafford. But they're pretty good players.
Yeah, they are.
Mark Richt says, I haven't had a more talented quarterback in all my years of coaching. And the running back, Moreno, he's second in the league in rushing, and he's gained over 100 yards 5 straight games.
They're comparing him to guys like Herschel Walker and Garrison Hurst. And as Bob said, Paul McGuire, Matthew Stafford may be the most talented or has the most potential of any quarterback Mark Richt's ever had. So those are 2 of the weapons that the Georgia Tech defense is going to have to try to stop today.
Well, defensive coordinator John Tenuta has really done a terrific job with this football team. They lead the nation in sacks with 46. They also lead the nation with tackles for lost yardage. You know, when you look at this team, this is a relentless defense. And if you like defensive football, you're going to love this game because I'll tell you, Georgia Tech will be coming on every single play.
18 seniors playing their last game. There's the defensive coordinator. And for over 45 years, the tradition of the Ramblin' Wreck coming through that sign. And buzz is already up in the air as they bring out the Ramblin' Wreck of Georgia Tech and the team behind them. The Bulldogs and the Yellow Jackets set to do battle again when we come back to Atlanta in a minute. You can't do any better than Mark Richt has done in non-conference regular season games. 24-0, trying to make it 25-0 today. Let's check in. 4th member of our team, Bonnie Bernstein. Bonnie?
Hey there, Brad. Well, this is the last chance for Tech's 18 seniors to put a licking on their in-state arch rival. No one more amped about that than, no surprise, Tashard Choice. Chan Gailey telling us the team's energy level is here. Tashard's got his motor running about 100 miles an hour up here, and his motor is connected to his mouth. So Tashard's mouth is healthy, and according to him, so are the knee and the hamstring that have bugged him a good chunk of the season. He told me he actually made it through a Tuesday practice for the first time in a month. He's about as close to 100% as he can get. He is the heart and soul of Georgia Tech's offense, and they're going to need him today to stop that 6-game losing streak against the Dogs, Brad.
One of the best in the ACC and trying to lead the ACC in rushing for a 2nd straight year. Chan Gailey's numbers, and of course the big one, the highlighted 0-5 against the guys from Athens. That doesn't sit too well with the alums around the flats. Georgia won the toss. They want the football. Matthew Stafford warming up that hand with Knowshon Moreno right in front of him, already breathing fire, fellas. He's stalking around like, let's go. Scott Blair will tee it up back deep. That's Asher Allen, number 2. Asher Allen had a great game last week against Kentucky, averaged over 31 yards per kickoff return. So he's a guy that returned the opener 82 yards last week. And he's chomping at the bit at the 5-yard line. For the 103rd time, Georgia Tech and Georgia. Here we go. Blair's kick. Chases Allen all the way to the goal line. Asher will bring it out to the middle of the field, and he's swarmed under by a whole hive of Yellow Jackets at about the 13-yard line. Troy Garside led the way. So out comes Matthew Stafford. He's been the starter pretty much the entire way, coming out of Highland Park High School in Dallas. Is one of the most highly recruited kids 2 years ago. Had a game-winning touchdown pass with 1:45 to play in last year's Georgia win. And the Dogs will work from just outside their own 12-yard line. They start in an I, and then Sutherland, the fullback, comes over on a wing left, and that's where the toss sweep goes to Marino. And Georgia Tech's waiting for him. A loss on the play. Philip Wheeler led the way. Let's check the Best Buy starting offense for the Georgia Bulldogs and our governor, Sonny Perdue.
We've got Georgia's candidate for Freshman of the Year, running back Noshawn Marino, gunning for his 6th straight 100-yard game. Senior Sean Bailey is turning into Matt Stafford's favorite deep threat. And center Fernando Velasco centering that line and leading those freshmen.
Governor Perdue, an ex-Dog himself. 2nd down and 11. Stafford in the gun with 3 wideouts. And here comes a blitz off the corner. He throws complete across the middle at about the 15. Got it to Trip Chandler, the tight end. It'll bring up 3rd down and long as Governor Perdue checks the Georgia Tech defense for us.
Speedy defensive end Darrell Robertson anchors the front 4 of the nation's 7th best defense. Philip Wheeler, tough linebacker. He may blitz at any time. All-ACC safety Jamal Lewis patrols downfield, making it tough on receivers.
Those receivers will be in the pattern. It's 3rd down and 6. Georgia, a 46% team on 3rd down conversions. Opening drive of the ball game. Stafford in the gun. Georgia Tech brings 5, and down he goes. There's sack number 47 on the year. And it's Gary Guyton, the outside linebacker. Paul, you talked about it.
Well, you know, I just love what John Tenuta does with these guys. He turns them loose. He just turns them loose. Watch these guys. They look like they got a 3-man rush, and they end up with 5 coming. And there's just no way to block them all.
They lead the nation in sacks and tackles for loss.
Brian Mims now is going to have to punt from his own end zone. And Tyler Evans should get excellent field position for Georgia Tech as he stands near midfield. Well, they're coming after the punter too, but he got it away, and it's a dandy. Evans fair catch way back at the 38-yard line. You talk about a great kick.
Yeah, what a great kick out of your end zone under pressure.
53 yards. So Georgia Tech does not get quite the field position we expected because of that booming kick. So out will come Taylor Bennett, the left-hander, his first full year as a starter. He started the bowl game last year when Reggie Ball was suspended. 8-5 as a starter. He struggled at times this year. And we'll see how he does setting up shop at the 38-yard line. Kashard Choice and Mike Cox in the Georgia Tech backfield. Choice, not much, maybe got 3. Let's check the Best Buy starting lineup offensively, and Governor Perdue does the honors again.
The heart and soul of the Georgia Tech offense this year is senior running back Kashard Choice, while fullback Mike Cox is both a threat running and catching the ball. Georgia Tech leads the ACC in rushing this year thanks to a strong offensive line.
Good job, Governor. 2nd down and 8. Georgia Tech just outside its own 40-yard line. And Bennett, his first throw. Fires deep on the sidelines. Got a man in stride, and he dropped it. Corey Earls would have had a touchdown. Well, you can't put it out there any better than that, boys.
You know, if anything, you mentioned Bennett has been hot and cold. If he's been inconsistent, but he put this one right on the money. What a big play this would have been for Earls to bring it in and just take it to the house.
Just sort of short-armed it because he thought he had such an easy catch. Oh, boy.
He's a redshirt freshman. making only his second start of the year is Earls.
That's a classic example of fighting the football.
Yep.
I mean, and the football won.
3rd down and 8 now. Georgia Tech not good in their 3rd down conversions, as you saw there. And now flags are down. It's going to be 3rd and more because it looked like Andrew Gardner came out of his stance.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 64 on the offense. 5
Let's
yards
check
from the previous
the
spot.
Georgia defense and Sonny Perdue again.
On the D-line, Marcus Howard's coming off a strong 2-sack performance last week. Georgia's always had a great group of linebackers, and this year's no exception. Backed up by my man, the governor of the defense, Keelan Johnson, picking off those passes and those smash-mouth hits.
I still think the governor should have switched ties into a gold tie when he did Georgia Tech's line.
I do too.
Bennett back to throw. In trouble, going to try to run out of it. A spin move got him back across the original line of scrimmage, and that's about it. So Georgia Tech is going to have to give it up after a 3 and out.
The big play on the first 2 possessions, no question, was the drop by Corey Earls, wide open, possibly down for the touchdown.
That brings out one of the best in the business punting. This guy, a finalist for the Ray Guy Award, Durant Brooks, great kicker, one of the best Georgia Tech's ever had. Mikey Henderson waits on the other end, and look out if he gets a crease. Nice punt. Henderson's got a backpedal. Way back to the 2. Fumbled the ball in the end zone. It's going to be a safety, I think, although there's still a pileup. Henderson kept backpedaling and then dropped the ball, backed into the end zone, and they still haven't given us a signal. Now they're saying touchback.
Touchback because the momentum of the ball carried the whole process into the end zone.
They're still unpiling bodies. Here's another look.
If he would have had possession of it, if he would ever had possession, never had possession, the momentum takes it into the end zone, and he gets on top of it, so it's a touchback. 2
Anderson.
huge plays so far for Georgia.
Lucky dogs. Uga 6. Uga, he's a redshirt junior in his 9th year out of Savannah, Georgia. He's got tennis shoes on, it looked like, in that shot.
Help me.
Uga 6, the winningest Uga and the heaviest Uga. And timeout taken by Georgia. Well, the Georgia Bulldogs, if they win today, would be BCS bound. But if Kentucky beats Tennessee, they're coming right back here to Atlanta next week to play LSU for the SEC championship. So they're going to know about by halftime of this game. And we asked Coach Rick the other day, said, Mark, what are you going to say if Tennessee wins or loses at halftime? He said, well, if they lose, we're going to be happy and we're going to play hard in the second half. If they win, we're going to be mad and we're going to get down and play hard in the second half. So I guess it doesn't matter all that much to him. Marino. Boy, Georgia Tech has closed the door on him completely. No gain on that play. Bonnie?
Marino's had 5 straight 100-yard rushing games, Brad. So the guy on Tech's scout team who plays his part this week had quite a tough task. True freshman Roddy Jones got the nod, and actually he got some major props from his teammates. Tackle Daryl Richard was telling me Jones is actually shiftier than Marino. That remains to be seen when he actually gets in and plays on Saturdays. But coming out of Chamblee High, he averaged 178 yards a game this season. All-time rushing leader in DeKalb County here in the Atlanta area.
Well, you know, there's hope for him as Thomas Brown takes a pitch and takes off. Brown down the sideline, saving a touchdown is DJ Jones. And Thomas lost his head, but he gained 32 yards.
Well, that's a great blocking on the outside. That hole just opened wide. There was one missed tackle about 5 yards down the field. But just take a look at Jones here, Brown here. This whole thing just opens up. Look on your left-hand side of the screen. Boom, boom, and there comes the lane.
That's the block right there, Paul.
Look at this. Now, wow.
Got it all the way to the Georgia Tech 45. Brown stays in there after that long run. And he'll get the call again. He was the starter at the beginning of the year. This time they stop him after a short gain. And to kind of finish up what Bonnie was talking about when I said there's hope for guys like Roddy Jones, because last year at this time, Noshawn Marino was the guy that was doing that, and everybody said, we got this guy that runs against us on the scout team and nobody can tackle him. And all of a sudden he got his chance about 3 weeks into this season, and he has proven everybody right.
Now, anytime you go up against an outstanding athlete, an outstanding runner, there's somebody on the other side in practice that's duplicating the plays that he runs. Maybe it's a quarterback, somebody duplicating all the throws that he can make. Usually it's a young guy with a lot of talent.
Here's a young guy with a lot of talent. Stafford comes up firing, completes it out. Brandon Sutherland, the fullback, is going to be short of the first down, though, by about 2. Reminder, near the conclusion of our game today, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's General Scholarship Fund. Well, here's the biggest third down of the game for Georgia anyway so far.
And Marino's back in the game, so
Georgia's had the ball 3 times and has punted on their first 2 possessions.
2 tight ends set. Marino, the tailback, in the eye on 3rd down and 3. They fake it to him. Stafford might want it all. Go into the end zone and knocked away. What a play by Morgan Burnett. The freshman starting just his 2nd game, and they love this kid's potential, and he showed it there, guys.
well, this is the thing that Tenuta was talking about. He said the one thing that's happening to us is we get beat deep. When we're blitzing, we get beat deep. But take a look at this play by Burnett. I mean, this guy is a true freshman. That shows you speed.
They said one of the best recruiting classes ever at Georgia Tech. Morgan Burnett, #1, was one of the top guys in this class.
And Georgia's decided to go on 4th and short, 4th and 3.
I love that call, though, by Georgia.
They're 7 out of 11 on 4th down conversions this year. And Stafford will throw for it with pressure. Lobs it out, incomplete, but a flag down. We might have a holding call on the Georgia Tech defense, and that'd mean first down. Philip Wheeler let Matthew Stafford have it as he got rid of the football.
Well, he wanted to throw the ball at Chappis, number 49, as he came out of the backfield, because twice now that play was open to Sutherland.
Number 34 on the defense. Eligible receiver doing a legal forward pass play. That penalty is 10 yards from the previous spot and carries an automatic first down.
Hubert Owens, our referee, and that's the call. Holding on Avery Roberson.
Well, what do you think? What do you think the scouting report showed? There's Wheeler, 41, putting pressure. Right there was the hold right in front of you. But what the problem was, what the situation was, Georgia, in studying, knew that on 3rd and 4th and short, 10 guys blitz coming to the line of scrimmage. The pass was open and they threw it both times.
So first down by penalty. Stafford in the shotgun, the quick slant. Oh, what a hit put on Sean Bailey by Jahi Ward Daniels. And Jahi just said, Sean, word up. Wow. At the Georgia Tech 38s, Stafford stands up, calls the audible, and looks back in at the Georgia Tech pressure. They'll keep it on the ground. Marino spinning off 1 and down to the 33, about a 5-yard gain for Noshawn. And again, it was Morgan Burnett who made the stop. I'll give it to you. You said it.
Thank you very much.
Well, my guy's in 2nd, Ames.
One guy's not showing up. Stafford throwing and caught by Massaquoi, and he was in. What a grab before stepping out. He's got a first down.
Look at if Massaquoi just kept his left leg in bounds. Watch his catch. You talk about great concentration and awareness of where you are in the field. Watch his left leg. Boom, it's down. He makes the catch. He's in bounds. That's a great catch.
You know,
man.
he even dragged the 2nd foot. That would have been
the thing I like too is that Georgia got the quarterback outside the pocket. If your defense is going to be pressuring you up the middle and they go to think you're in the pocket, then just get outside the pocket.
So I took Zach Johnson, and Zach doesn't have a nickel to his name.
I have Ames, and I got 1.
You got 25 large. Bob's got 75 G's. And
Bob,
Bonnie doesn't have any money either.
well, Bob can loan us some money then.
Thomas Brown Going to lose about a yard. Eric Morgan made the stop defensively.
Well, getting back to Massaquoi for a second, Brad, you know, when I was talking to Matt Stafford, he said that he really thinks Muhammad gets the most improved award this year. He had a really good freshman year, but then he said Muhammad kind of had a rough sophomore season, in part because Georgia was rotating 3 quarterbacks, and he said none of us were playing particularly well. But some huge plays from Massaquoi this year, including an 84-yard touchdown against Florida that still is the longest receiving TD in the SEC this year. So what an improvement for him.
Yeah, he had a good game against Tech last year, too. 6 catches, including a touchdown. 10th play of the Georgia drive, and it's Brown again. And flags fly one more time.
Well, 67 Chester Adams was out there. I don't know if that's him or not, but it's on Georgia.
We've already had more holding calls than Paul had on his first date.
You know what? I said to Georgia Tech, in order to win this game, they didn't have to throw the ball. But
Number 67 on the offense.
Yeah.
That penalty is 10 yards from the previous spot.
No,
that's Chester.
Play second down.
that's Adams, and he's a senior. That's not one of the freshmen that are 3 freshmen that are starting on that offensive line.
But the way Georgia Tech defensively, they've got 8, 9 guys in the box because it's Marino and Brown. They have to stop these guys. So when I said Georgia Tech has to throw the ball, I think that Georgia's going to win this game. They're going to have to throw the ball successfully.
They've got a 2nd and 21 if they want to put one up here. Backed up to the 29-yard line with that holding penalty. Stafford drills it down the middle and over everybody's head. Closest guy was Massaquoi.
That ball was high all the way.
Yep.
High and away.
Adam Oliver's been taken to the Georgia Tech locker room, Bonnie tells us, to examine that knee. The defensive end, the senior, out of Newport, Richie, Florida.
Yeah, talking to John Tenuta yesterday, he says he only has about 14 or 15 players defensively that he plays. So losing his defensive end kind of makes that a little bit thin on that defensive line.
You got that right. 3rd down and a mile. They have to get all the way to the Tech 7-yard line for a first down. That's Sean Bailey in motion. Stafford, here comes the pressure, and he throws it to the ground and completes. They got to him. Gary Guyton was right in his face.
Well, they put some heat on you, don't you? Yep. I mean, when you watch these guys, they just let it all loose.
Well, they've got all these fronts defensively and all these sets, and they're a smart bunch too. They're a very veteran group. They've got 7 seniors on that defensive side, so they've been doing this for a while. They know where to come from.
Brandon Coutu will try a field goal. 47 is his longest this year, but he's had longer in his career. This is a 45-yard attempt. Kick on the way, and it looks perfect, and is. Georgia draws first blood with 58 seconds to go in the quarter. It's Georgia 3, Georgia Tech nothing. I just can't wait till you talk to Coach Foster. You're the one that was screaming about it for about 3 days.
Well, I don't even understand it. I mean, you stop a team for 58 minutes.
I shouldn't have turned him on to that, should I?
No. I think when we do talk to him, I think if
take a tape of
if Pablo
football.
doesn't bring it up, I think we should ask. I think we should bring it up for him.
Bring it up.
Allow those two to discuss it.
I would like to find out why. You stop a team for 58 minutes with regular defense, and then you decide to run a prevent. It prevents you from winning.
Coutu to kick. Jamal Evans and Jonathan Dwyer wait on the other end. On a one-hopper at about the 13, it's Evans. And Jamal running out of real estate on the near sideline. Gets out to about the 30-yard line. Let's check in on our X Factor presented by Citi. And it's the guy you just saw going into the huddle. Josh Nesbitt getting more and more time in the Georgia Tech quarterback spots. He's a guy that can do a lot of different things.
He's a true freshman, one of the guys in that top freshman class. In the summer when he first got here, he was a little erratic, and they used to call him Wild Thing.
He's calmed down a little bit.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot better since then.
Here's Taylor Bennett, though, the starter, to throw. The deep out, nice throw, out complete to the 48-yard line to James Johnson.
What a good throw. He had pressure. He had to get rid of it. He threw it before the receiver made his cut. Big time.
And that's the kind of thing that they see from Taylor Bennett on a daily basis in practice that just doesn't carry over to the game sometimes. And of course, he had a sensational bowl game last year, and everybody said, you know what? Georgia Tech's going to be in a perfect spot at quarterback. Look at the numbers he put up. Well, look who he was throwing to. Calvin Johnson last year in the bowl game.
Reggie Ball, the previous starter here for what, 49 games?
4 years.
4-year starter.
So Georgia Tech with their best play offensively so far. They go back to play action to throw again. Lofting it for Johnson again. Intercepted in the secondary by C.J. Bird. That one hung a little too long, and a bird flew in to grab it.
Well, you know, you got the safety playing center field, and you hang this ball up this long, it's going to get picked off.
Well, the receiver is going to be down here, and he's going to be open. But the guy they got to watch out for is the free safety. He initially is out of the spot. Now just throw it deep down the right side. Don't allow the safety to get back into it. But he threw it more to the middle of the field instead of down the field.
How about that pirouette by Bird, though, to break stride, not even break stride, and turn back around to the ball.
Yeah.
Great play. For Bird, that's his first interception of the year. And now it's Stafford, and he's going deep. Got a man out there, overshot Massaquoi, incomplete.
Got to give that a little bit more air. Let your guy run under it.
If he'd have thrown the one that Bennett just threw, that would have been a touchdown.
Exactly.
Well, you know the thing about it is
they switched. Because Bennett's had too much air.
Yeah.
You've got such great runners on both of these teams that on any kind of play action pass is freezing. It really is freezing the safeties. And you might as well keep trying to throw them all day long because it's going to eventually be open.
Well, both defenses got like 19 guys up there to try and stop the run and force both quarterbacks to throw.
Second down at 10 and back to the ground. They're not giving Noshan Marino very much room to operate. Got about 3. Vance Walker off the defensive tackle spot made the hit. They call Vance Walker El Destructo. John Tenuta's got a nickname for just about everybody, and he's probably got one for the 4 of us too, but that's El Destructo, who just ended the first quarter with that tackle. We played one in Atlanta. After 15 minutes, it's 7th-ranked Georgia with a 3-0 lead over the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech.
Welcome back to Atlanta. College football lives here.
And the Yellow Jackets haven't had much to cheer about. They haven't had the ball much, guys.
Well, it's ball control. It's Georgia Tech hasn't controlled it. The first 2 possessions, 3 out and a punt. The third possession, they had 2 plays and an interception. So Georgia's been controlling the ball offensively.
Georgia starts the second quarter with a 3rd down at 7. Stafford from the shotgun has time over the middle, diving attempt at the catch by Mikey Henderson, and he couldn't hold it. So Georgia's going to have to give the football up again, and they'll be punting from deep in their own territory.
The problem is that both of these defenses are playing so well against the run that you've got 2 great running backs in this ball game, and neither one of them can get on track. And that's discipline in your defense.
You just know that at some point there's going to come a big play. Whether it be on special teams, offense, defense. Mims gets the kick out of there. And this one did not go out there like he wanted it to. His first one was a dandy. And this one, again, with pressure from Georgia Tech, got it out to the 47-yard line. The last we heard, guys, Tennessee had 31 points, a 31-14 lead, I think it was, on Kentucky. We all know the situation here. A lot of people think if Georgia wins this game and doesn't go to the SEC title game, they're almost in better shape.
Because they're going to go to a BCS Bowl for sure.
Right.
Yeah, they'll be 10-2, and they'll get into a BCS Bowl.
I just can't wait till he settle all this stuff. I know where we're going next week. We got Virginia Tech and Boston
That's
College.
just it.
I don't care about the other.
We got to play all these games. We got a lot of football left before we decipher all this stuff. Deshard Choice trying to take it outside and tumbles across the 45 to the 44. Deshard's had a hard time getting going too. We take a look at our ESPNU All-State Standings review. LSU, that one's going to drop.
Arizona State's out too.
Right, and Kansas and Missouri play at 8 o'clock tonight in Kansas City
So
on
there's
ABC.
only 5 teams left that have less than 2 losses. Did you hear what I said?
And you know what? You know that a team with 1 loss has played in 6 of the 9 BCS title games, and I'll bet you it's going to happen again.
I think I've heard that before.
We like to keep everybody abreast of that one. Here's second down. Tech putting his head down as Tashard Choice bounces into Rashad Jones and got maybe to the 40, the 39-yard line. It's going to bring up third down and short. This is a spot where Georgia Tech really needs to convert, I think, on a third down and about 2 to go. And they trail by 3, and there's a lot of football left. But they've got to get something positive to happen here.
You know, Tashard Choice, it's really, I like watching this guy run because once he gets into the secondary or there's somebody coming up to take him on, he will take the defender on instead of trying to avoid him.
He flanks Bennett in the shotgun. On third down and 3. Taylor throws quickly, complete to Earls, who dropped one earlier, and he's got this one for a first down.
Bob, this kid's throwing the ball extremely well. Now, you know, all the stuff we heard about, that's fine. No,
he's
it's right
inconsistent. I mean, he throws some balls well, and that one he threw wonderfully, and he needed to pick up a first down right at you. Allen sees, the defensive back, Allen sees it's a slant. Earls just goes in front of him, and that's a nice play, first down.
And when Taylor Bennett maybe makes his best play of the day, in comes the switch-up guy. Here's Josh Nesbitt, our X-Factor man at quarterback, in the gun for Georgia Tech, the freshman.
Offense changes into a spread now.
And he'll run with it to the left. Bounces off one tackler and got about 5. So that's the dimension, obviously, that he adds. And we've seen so much of it, guys, from Dennis Dixon and Juice Williams and Pat White. You go down the list, and more teams are doing this kind of thing.
Well, if I'm on the defense and I see Josh Nesbitt come in the game, number 9, I just yell and scream at everybody. They're going to run.
Well, we asked Chan yesterday and John Bond, the offensive coordinator, when Nesbitt comes in, does the offense change from what Bennett would run? He says yes.
Now here's a different look. Tashard Choice to take a direct snap. And Georgia Tech likes to do this too because he's such a good runner in between the tackles, which is exactly where he went. First down.
Yes, did you see him just hesitate just for that split second until the block was made in front of him, and then he takes a, watch him step. Watch the step he makes. Right there, whoa, now go. He sees the opening, and watch him explode into this hole.
And following Mike Cox, his fullback, as always. His protector.
Not a bad guy to follow.
First down, Georgia Tech. Now Bennett back in at quarterback. Choice a single setback. Tashard, nice move in the hole, touchdown, Georgia Tech. One little move in the hole and he was gone.
Watch the blocking up front. I mean, this is just absolutely outstanding. There is a white shirt really, and he runs up the middle of the field and was never touched by anybody.
Tashard's 10th touchdown rushing of the year. The extra point is good. Finding the end zone for the 28th time in his brilliant Georgia Tech career. 3rd in school history. And this one from 12 yards out. A 47-yard march in 6 plays, and the Ramblin' Wreck has rumbled to the lead. Only one pass, that quick slant that Earls caught from Bennett, and 3 different guys took snaps basically at the quarterback position during that drive. Tashard Choice, a direct snap. Josh Nesbitt for one play. Taylor Bennett, the pass that counted. The other 5 were rushes. The last one, 12 yards. Tashard Choice for the touchdown.
Sometimes, Brad, when you change things up offensively, if you're struggling, it sends a message to the rest of your offense. If you're doing well, it just gives them like a jump start. Nesbitt came in, had a nice run, and it got him down and got a touchdown.
Asher Allen waits at the 5-yard line for Scott Blair's kickoff. High and short. They're going to have to hustle just to get to it. Asher Allen at the 13. Nice move across the 25 to the 31. Nifty little return. Morgan Burnett is the guy that made this stop. And we see Oklahoma with a score update. The Sooners leading Oklahoma State, the Bedlam battle, and then they'll play the winner of the Kansas-Missouri game.
After
more
the
than
play
likely
was
if they
over.
win.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 10 on the receiving team. After the play was over, personal foul, number 31 on the kicking team. Those penalties offset. It'll be first down.
All right, so each team with a personal foul doesn't move the football at all.
We'll say that by and large, as rivalries go, this one is kind of a mild one as far as tempers flaring before games and shaking hands afterwards.
We've had, as you saw in our opening, a few brawls along the way, but for the most part, as I said, a lot of these guys have known each other for a long time through high school ranks. Both of these teams loaded with Georgia players, as you might expect. Here's Brown, who was the starter at the beginning of the year. Thomas, one of the seniors. He's out from right here in town. Tucker High School. And DJ Jones out of St. Mary's, Georgia, makes the stop. So every time I could tell you, going down the list, and a lot of times we'd say somebody from someplace in Georgia on these two teams.
Well, 90% of the players on the University of Georgia roster are from Georgia. It's just that their three quarterbacks, the top three, are from out of state.
Exactly. The second down at 6. Stafford moving players around. He has missed on his last 4 pass attempts. At the 37, he'll toss it to Brown, and they blew this dead before it got going. Flag down.
Well, you had the tackle was uncovered on this side, number 67.
Before the play, timeout. Georgia.
I think they had to.
That one was called because of what Paul's talking about, I think. 11:34 to go, first half. Downtown Atlanta, Georgia, in the Capitol building over there in the top left corner. Our shot from our HD picture provided by DirecTV HD Starship high above us, giving us some great shots of Bobby Dodd Stadium as well. Thomas Brown weaving through traffic, and Brown into Georgia Tech territory at the 45-yard line. Picked up 18 yards.
Tackled by DJ Jones.
You know, Brad, when you get all those guys, like 7 guys and 8 guys in the box in the line of scrimmage, all you really have to do is create a seam between 2 guys. And once you do that, there really is nobody in the secondary until you get to the safety.
Saw the numbers on Thomas Brown. We were talking about Noshawn Marino being the star, but Brown is a guy that came in to the game with over 2,400 yards in his career in Athens. And he knows how to get the job done.
Missed last year with a knee injury.
Missed 3.5 games with a collarbone injury this year. Now it's number 24 Marino flanking Stafford in the gun. Throw complete inside the 40 to Sean Bailey. A pickup of about 8 as we check in with Bonnie.
Brad, you mentioned the quarterbacks in this game not being from Georgia. Matt Stafford's from Texas. A big fan of Troy Aikman's growing up, no surprise. Maybe more of a surprise that Aikman is actually a fan of Stafford. He moved to Highland Park, where Stafford's from, just before his senior year. Sent him a good luck note in college, and he's actually kept tabs on his career. Said he was so impressed with the way he rallied back against Virginia Tech last year in the Chick-fil-A Bowl. He thinks he's got quite a bright future in front of him.
Yeah, they really think so. He's got all the tools. Just a matter of the experience, and he's getting it every week. Marino on a cutback run, and Georgia Tech won't let him cut back. Vance Walker made the stop and a loss of about 1. Time for our Aflac trivia question, gang. Only one school has produced 3 different Super Bowl MVPs. Which school and who are those players? Give you time to think about it.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Third down, an important one.
It's probably another 4-down area for Mark Richt.
From the Tech 38. Figgins, a tight end in motion. Stafford rolls and throws and completes it. And it's Massaquoi for a first down at the 31.
Again, I like what Mike Bobo is doing, the offensive coordinator. Third down, roll your quarterback a little bit. Helps your protection. If you're concerned about the blitz, roll your quarterback, gets a little extra time. You can see the receiver. He goes down, breaks it to the outside.
9:40 remaining in the half. Georgia Tech with a lead, but Georgia on the drive. And for Massaquoi, that's his 3rd catch And 2 of them have been third down conversion throws. Now back to the eye. And again, Figgins on the move. Play action. Stafford going for Bailey. Incomplete. Sean Bailey played well by Jahi Ward-Daniels. We talked about Bailey being one of the big targets, Massaquoi the other. Remember, last year in this game, in a low-scoring affair, Georgia won the game on the final drive, and it took them all the way down to 1:45 left. And this was Stafford, the pump fake, and then just zips it over the middle to Mohamed Massaquoi, and that was the game winner. Second down at 10. 3 wide outs. Again, Stafford in the shotgun. Georgia Tech hasn't brought a lot of pressure the last couple of plays. And now it's Stafford inside the 10 and gone. Touchdown. 31 yards.
Hey, Ness, I'm going to tell you thing. You think Marino doesn't draw a crowd? Everybody went for Marino. He comes in motion. He'll come in motion, number 24, and watch what happens when he does. Look at the defense. They all follow him. And here's Stafford all by himself.
There's nobody there.
Stafford's first rushing touchdown of the year was against Kentucky last week, but that one wasn't nearly as dramatic or as long as the one he just scored on there. He's saying, Coach, just call my number. I'll do whatever I need to do.
That's a little of the spread option where you hand it one way and all of the defensive linebackers are going after the running back and nobody's there for the quarterback.
31 yards and Georgia has regained the lead. Matthew Stafford, a 31-yard touchdown run, and he's probably on a lot of Georgia people's Christmas lists. The hero of Athens, just a sophomore, and his second rushing touchdown of the year, the 5th of his career.
And he's only going to get better.
Yep. Having fun over there on the sideline, you can tell that. He comes in with 17 touchdown passes this year, 2 short of the single season number 6 mark, and that's held by Mike Bobo, the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach. Mike, 2-time captain for the Dogs only like 10 years ago, and I remember his senior year when he led Georgia to a comeback victory over Georgia Tech. So he's not too far removed, the guy in the booth, from the guy that's on the field. Short kick taken at the 13 by Jamal Evans. Evans got a little bit of a wall on the near side, and he's across the 35 and out to the 36-yard line. Matthew Stafford enjoying life in Athens and being the Georgia Bulldog quarterback.
Managing the game, you know, every play I got options up there, and being able to get the team in the right play and then have it score is fun for me. You know, it's kind of like the coach that calls the perfect play. You know, you feel like you got your team into the right play, and it worked for us.
Get in the right play and have some fun. Ain't any better than that, huh?
Yeah, you know, Mark Richt turned over the play calling to Bobo, and I'm sure that Mark Richt said, "Attaboy, that was a great play. I like that one."
First down, Georgia Tech now. Trailing 10-7. Bennett, heavy pressure, and the ball hit, but it's still caught. Colin Peak, the tight end.
Protect your body a little bit there.
Whoa.
But it was a great catch, though. I mean, the ball was tipped.
Yeah, it was. And a great effort to get more yardage.
That was Asher Allen that comes in. He blitz, a corner blitz. Well, look at this. And he hits the ball. The ball, look at Peak. He goes down, pick it up. And he picked up 7 yards on play. Almost got killed.
Well, the tight ends last year for Georgia Tech didn't catch many balls.
No, and he's got 23 now with that reception. So they're using the tight end quite a bit more. And he's over there checking to make sure everything's in the right spot after that collision at the end of the play. On second down and 3, Choice has got a first down out near midfield. Pickup of 6. We asked you the Aflac trivia question a little while ago, and it was, if you lost us, only one school's produced 3 Super Bowl MVPs. Which school and who are those players? Well, it's the University of Georgia, and it's Jake Scott, Terrell Davis, and Hines Ward. How about those guys? One of those is your old partner.
My old partner, Jake Scott. He was the MVP in our undefeated season. The game out in the Los Angeles Coliseum, 17-0 season. Jake intercepted Billy Kilmer twice. I was standing on the sideline just cheering him on.
Way to go, Jake.
Way to go, Jake.
Battle made the stop. Roderick, a defensive end. He's out of right here in Atlanta as well. Second down and long. 8:20 remaining in the half. Georgia 10, Georgia Tech 7. Tennessee leading Kentucky 31-21 the last time we heard. A Tennessee win would put them in the SEC championship game against LSU. A Kentucky win would put Georgia in the Georgia Dome a week from tonight.
So Georgia doesn't know whether they have to play next week or not.
That's right.
Right now. They will after the game.
They'll know by maybe halftime. Second and long. Bennett throws and hits. Knocked down. He had a guy open. I think it was Akeem Dent. And that shows the speed. Some of those young linebackers, they've changed things up because they want Akeem Dent, who started today, and Rennie Curran, who's a true freshman, out there because they really had some speed for Willie Martinez defense on the edges.
Well, if Taylor Bennett that time would have just turned up the field and ran instead of running to the sidelines, he'd have had the first down.
Willie's done a nice job. In fact, the last 5 games, this defense has been on a roll.
Willie, a member of the '83 Miami National Championship team.
Now he's got 9 starters from this defense coming back next year, so they got something to work with.
Tech only 1 out of 3 on their third downs. Bennett in the pocket, just took too long. Atkins got to him. First sack of the day for Georgia. And for Geno Atkins, SEC Defensive Lineman of the Week for his performance against Kentucky. And he's got a big play right there for the Dogs.
There was no place to throw. And you were talking about the defense of Georgia. They just covered everybody, and there was no place for Bennett to throw the football, so
Bennett,
he had to eat it.
This is his 14th start, and he needs to make his mind up quicker. If he's not going to throw it, then he needs to run it. And if he's not going to run it, then he needs to throw it away.
Brooks to punt. Mikey Henderson stands back at about the 10-yard line for Georgia. And he backpedals to the 5, and he'll take it there. Henderson out to the 15, got about 10 on the return. So Georgia's got the lead with 7:02. Knowshon Moreno still hasn't broken one. He's probably thinking about it, though, right about now.
Now it's time for the Allstate Good Hands flashback. The 90th meeting between the Georgia Bulldogs and the rambling wreck of Georgia Tech was one for the ages. With Georgia trailing by 3 with 20 seconds remaining, Bulldogs quarterback Mike Bobo was intercepted, but a Yellow Jackets penalty gave the Dogs new life, and on the very next play, the game winner.
Bobo throws it to the corner of the end zone. He got it. Corey Allen with the catch.
IBM presents the 25 greatest players ever. Number 7, Tony Dorsett. Before his arrival, Pittsburgh hadn't had a winning season in 9 years. Dorsett rushed for 1,000 yards in 4 straight seasons, and by his senior year, Pittsburgh was the national champion. IBM, getting it done.
So Tony Dorsett then. Dorsett as a pro, one of the great ones. And he's number 7. Remember, number 2 and number 1 announced on New Year's Day on ABC. The drama builds. Who's going to be number 1? Who's going to be in the top 5? 7 minutes left in the half here. And it's Thomas Brown, stood up by Philip Wheeler, the captain of the defense. Second down and 9. Stafford with a touchdown run. Comes back up to the line. A quick out, complete to Massaquoi. Going to be well short of the first down, though. Morgan Burnett makes the stop. Massaquoi's 4th catch of the afternoon so far. With 6 minutes and change remaining, our Pacific Life game summary. Rashard Choice, 50 yards and a touchdown run right there, 12 yards to cap off Georgia Tech's scoring drive. Then Matthew Stafford kind of pulled a switcheroo on everybody as Marino drew a crowd and he went the other way. 31 yards for the touchdown. That and Katu's field goal is where Georgia has a 10-7 lead. Plenty of time for Stafford. And this one almost intercepted by Burnett. Made a nice play on the ball over there, and he almost swiped it.
Well,
he's Tech's leading interceptor with 3.
I'm sorry, but I'll tell you, this kid is good. He's a true freshman. And Reese talked about him earlier about how good this kid really is. And he is playing, you're playing a tough position as a corner. And with a little grabbing there.
He's even learned how to hold.
All right, but if you don't get caught, it's not holding.
Mims to punt. As you look in from behind, Brian, the captain of the special teams today. Wobbly punt, fair caught by Tyler Evans at about the 38-yard line. So 5:22 remaining in the half. Georgia Tech with another chance offensively here before intermission. Reminder, speaking of intermission, coming up on the Capital One halftime report, John and Craig and Doug will have all the highlights, including that battle between Virginia Tech and Virginia. The winner, of course, plays, and we know who the winner is, Virginia Tech going on to play Boston College. They'll also break down tonight's big showdown between number 4 Missouri and number 2 Kansas. That's coming up in just about 5 minutes. Georgia has owned the time of possession and the total yardage chart, but still they only lead by 3. Bennett, play action, pump fakes, and now throws a streak for Earls, and it is almost intercepted. Brian Evans trying to put the brakes on so he could make the interception and couldn't quite grab it.
If he would have thrown across the field, I think he had a man open going across the field. Watch one of these in here as he go across the field, and he tried to throw it down the sideline. Right here, if he would have thrown it there and given him some air to the outside, I think he had a better shot at that one than he did down the sideline.
So 2nd and 10. All the receivers to the near side, and now the motion man is Demaryius Thomas. Rashard Choice bounces across the 40, maybe to the 41-yard line.
Tackled by Jeff Owens.
Well, Rashard Choice, he talked with us, and he talks a mile a minute about how competitive he is.
Big time. I'm competitive in everything I do, man. I think it's my spirit. Since I've been a little kid, my older brother, a lot of people always, I always had to play older in the yard. Everybody was older than me, so I always wanted to be the best then. And on the field, man, that's all I do. I compete. If it's catching the ball, throwing, it don't matter. I just try to win.
That's the way Rashard is all the time. Even when he's going to class, his mouth's moving like that. Bennett to throw. Fires, completes. And a first down out of the 45 to Greg Smith. His first catch of the day.
That's
and Greg's still going, and there's a swarm of dogs out there now. And I guess he was not stopped.
Yeah, maybe the forward progress, they never stopped him with a whistle.
They're going to give it to him at the end of that play. So a little bit of a strange look there. 22-yard pickup as Greg Smith didn't want to go down.
Just a wonderful throw there by Taylor Bennett. He waits in the pocket,
He got a little stinger on that one from somebody's helmet, I think, on the way by.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
So now it's Rashard Choice inside the 30, down to the 29 on the direct snap. He's got them rolling.
Yes, I kind of like this offense with Rashard Choice as the quarterback. I mean, he picks up 8, 9 yards. Then he ran for a touchdown a little while ago. I mean, this opens up beautifully. Now they're going to go with Nesbitt. Or are they?
No, it's Thomas, number 8.
Gain of 9 yards. 2nd down and 1.
No, Bennett's back. I'm sorry.
So Bennett on a short yardage with Rashard Choice behind him. And Mike Cox, the fullback, on that wing on the left side, which would indicate they might go that way. But they're going to throw for it instead. Down the middle. And Peak couldn't quite hold it.
He had him. He's just so inconsistent. He needs to concentrate on making the easy throws as much as he does the difficult throws. That one he should have had complete easily.
And you saw him pointing at himself as he looked at Peak, and he said, "That's my fault." And he's right.
And he
so's Bob. He's thrown an interception, completed 4. And there you see what Bob's talking about is all he's got to do is get that up in front of him and a little higher, and it's probably a touchdown.
Lay it out to the inside.
This could be 2-down territory for Georgia Tech. Well, whistle stop play on a 3rd down and a yard.
Georgia Tech sideline called that one.
Timeout with 3:17 remaining in the first half. And, you know, Thursday night, Thanksgiving for everybody, and that always means the crew gets together. Sometimes they do some wacky things. Not the eating part. Now, that's always good. Now, this is Brian Fahey and Bonnie Bernstein with show tunes. Uh-oh. There's my buddy.
I'm feeling bulletproof.
And Toby Keith's favorite. And Ashley Goodrich and our producer Daddy Bob, and that one drew the crowd and the flashlights and the lighters.
Well, we don't have an opportunity to be at home on Thanksgiving to spend it with our families, so we spend it with our crew and our family on the road.
You know what the best part was? Ashley's all of 5 years old, and after she was done singing one of his songs, she goes, "Yeah, that's the way I roll." So she's looking to come out of her shell at some point, hopefully.
Here's Tashard Choice. He's looking to get out of the shell that Georgia's defense has provided him, and he's got a first down. Boy, tough run by Double Deuce. Tashard Choice.
How many guys did he make miss?
I think 3. I think he makes a fool out of you because you really, once he's running, watch the guys that miss, and he keeps, jump into the inside. He's going outside first. Now watch. Right here, goodbye. Right here, goodbye. Right here.
Run you over.
But I mean, he makes a fool out of you, and when you actually sit there and think about, well, I don't want to see this film tomorrow.
There you see the fans with the 2 fingers held up for Double Deuce. Tashard Choice, first down, Georgia Tech at the Georgia 20. Here he comes again. Got 2 or 3 at Bluegrass.
Look out, Tennessee. What an up and down season Kentucky has had.
You got that right. Georgia Tech, second down and 8. Choice has been the man as he's been all season for Georgia Tech. Play action. Bennett, here comes pressure. He got it to Peak, the tight end. Peak, touchdown. First touchdown catch of the year for Colin Peak, and it couldn't be at a better time for the Ramblin' Wreck. They regained the lead over Georgia. Travis Bell for the point after. Up and good. 2 minutes exactly remaining in the half, and Georgia Tech back in front. 14-10. Chan Gailey likes what he sees. '61-yard march in 8 plays, 3:22, and this was the capper, Grease.
Here's Peak right here. Watch what he does. Now he's going to get a block first. He gets a block right here, and then he releases. But the key is the quarterback gets away from 2 guys and throws the ball. Now Peak catches it and makes a good job, does a good job getting into the end zone. But that play was made by Taylor Bennett, getting away from the 2 defenders.
Taylor Bennett's 6th touchdown throw of the year, our 3rd lead change. And now Georgia's still got 1 timeout and 2 minutes left before halftime. Blair's kick. Asher Allen's got a hustle to flag it down at the 1-yard line. Oh, big hit at about the 22. Nessler, Bob Greasy, Paul McGuire, and Bonnie Bernstein from Bobby Dodd Stadium in Atlanta. And now it's even. It was a big edge to Georgia in total yardage until that last 61-yard drive by the Ramblin' Wreck. And now Mark Richt's Dogs are down 4. 1 timeout left for Georgia. Stafford in the gun and Sean Bailey in motion. Stafford fires, got a man on the sideline, and what a catch. Chris Durham timed that jump beautifully, and he brought it down. 22-yard pass play.
It's a wonderful job by Stafford by buying some time and then getting the ball out to the right guy.
Took a big hit as he let go.
It was Robertson.
And Georgia's got a first down all the way out now to the Tech, or their own, I should say, 45-yard line. Stafford again comes up throwing. Sean Bailey trying to make the catch and couldn't. Sean Bailey, who was out last year with a knee injury, had a great year a couple of seasons ago, and a familiar name around Atlanta because his daddy was quite a player with the Atlanta Falcons. Stacey Bailey.
He is the leading receiver coming in today with 34 catches.
He's only got 1 catch today. They've thrown 5 his way. 2nd down and 10. 1:34 left in the quarter. Stafford again will come up to the line. Georgia Tech reloads. See if they bring the heat. They don't. They back out of it. Stafford, deep sideline for Massaquoi, and he's got it. Out of bounds. Mohamed Massaquoi at the 24-yard line.
Roberson that side, Paul, the defensive, the corner, lost sight of the ball, got turned around.
Well, Morgan Burnett didn't get over to help him, but you're right about Roberson. He just lost a player. He just lost Massaquoi. Look at him now. He's trailing him, and he's not looking for the ball. He's not getting any calls. He's not getting any help.
Yeah. Did you see what they tried to do? The corner that was lined up over him went to the deep middle, and they didn't. They got caught trying to be fancy on a defensive coverage.
So 1st down for the Bulldogs at the Georgia Tech 24-yard line. Looking to try to change the lead for us again. Throw, and this one's over the head. Sean Bailey and out of bounds. Philip Wheeler again was bringing some pressure on Matthew Stafford.
Well, Stafford, when he comes up to the line of scrimmage, trust me, he looks to see where Philip Wheeler is, number 41. He is their leading tackler. He has 6 sacks. And this guy, I'm telling you something, they're trying to block him with offensive linemen. They can't.
Philip Wheeler, John Tenuta calls him the Terminator. Now, the braids are similar, but I think Philip's a lot better looking.
Now, wait a minute. Philip Weaver, we talked to him yesterday. He's a lot better looking than that guy.
Predator, I should have said, not Terminator. I'm sorry. Arnold was in both movies. Stafford just throws this one in the dirt. And again, he has to pick himself off the turf. Darryl Richard let him have it at the end of the play.
Did you see Marino that time? You talk about these guys, Choice drawing the crowd, Marino drawing the crowd. There were 3 guys on Marino when he was going to throw that little slip screen to him, and he had no chance, so he threw it in the dirt.
Well, you know what? He did throw it in the dirt. And that right there is just smart coaching. This kid has only been at Georgia a year and a half playing, and the ability of not taking the sack to know that I can throw it in the dirt right there shows me that he's a bright kid and has had good coaching.
3rd down and 10. Georgia Tech's fans trying to come to life for their defense with some noise here with 1:16 remaining in halftime. Stafford pump fakes. Now throws to the corner to the end zone. And we're going to have a flag. We are. Massaquoi with Burnett out there and a penalty marker in the end zone.
I think the fact that the ball was underthrown and the receiver was trying to come back and get it.
The officials still having a committee meeting out there, and Hubert Owens will give us our official call right about now.
Pass interference. Number 23 on the defense. That penalty is 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic 1st down.
Ooh. And Chan Gailey showing his fire.
I'll tell you what's got to be frustrating for coaches when you're standing on the sideline, you're trying to get someone's attention, and they're not paying any attention to you.
Now it's got to be on number 1.
It's got to be on 1. 23 was nowhere in the vicinity.
This ball's going to be underthrown. I don't see it.
I don't see any pass interference. If there's any at all, it's on the receiver.
As it is, Georgia's got a 1st and goal at the Georgia Tech 9. Stafford to the end zone. Touchdown, Massaquoi.
You take advantage of a break that comes your way, and you make a touchdown out of it. It's going to be a slant just to the inside. The tight end's going to go upfield. Easy throw, easy catch.
That was in front of Burnett again, who was the guy that actually the penalty was on, if indeed it was a penalty on the previous play. And Bailey, extra point, and hit the upright and is no good. And that could be big because we've still got a whole half to play. And now it's just a 2-point difference. 16-14. Let's go back 2 plays ago before the touchdown. And when the penalty was called, they said number 23, and there wasn't a number 23 in the screen.
It's number 1. It's Burnett.
Well, there's one-on-one Burnett and Massaquallo. Watch Massaquallo. He pushes him away. If there's any penalty at all in here, it's an offensive pass interference.
Well, he called it on number 1 and the yellow, which is Burnett. And there was no pass interference there. Guys, before we had replay, officials made mistakes all the time. Fortunately, this one happens early enough in a ball game that Georgia Tech can come back and play the whole second half and say, hey, we had a bad break, we can overcome it.
Yeah, but that would have been 4th down. So, you know. See, they had to try to kick the field goal instead of getting a touchdown.
And you saw Chan Gailey's reaction.
Yeah.
Remember, this isn't just a game. This is a guy that has gone 0-5 against Georgia in his stay here in Atlanta.
Yep.
And there may not be an 0 and whatever if it ends up being 0-6. So he's coaching maybe for his job. Let's be honest about it. Everybody talks about it, and we want to avoid it because we don't like going into those avenues because Chan Gailey's a good guy and a good coach, and he's coaching against a good guy and a good coach in Mark Richt. But, you know, that's the way people think around here. Let's be honest about it.
Yeah. And we don't like to jump on officials, but there was no interference on that last play that got Georgia down in there in position.
Short kick taken by Jamal Evans. Evans trying to set it up to the left side here. Got some help from his blockers, and he's all the way out to the 40-yard line right here in a non-conference game, but a big one. It's Georgia 16, Georgia Tech 14. Taylor Bennett throws it up the sideline. Incomplete, intended for Demaryius Thomas. And Prince Miller was out there covering.
One thing that Taylor Bennett, when you watch him and you say, Bob, he's not consistent, is the fact that he always looks at the receiver he's going to throw the ball to. I mean, he does it all the time, and if he throws it somewhere else where a guy's open, it's because he's looked the one guy off for so long that the defense just follows over there.
But sooner or later, you got to look at the guy you're throwing to.
I know you do, but not the whole time. Not from the time you get the ball in your hand and say, hey, I'm throwing it over
You
here.
leave my quarterbacks alone.
No, I got it.
You keep looking at that defense.
Here they come after Bennett. He's going to throw the same type of pattern. The adjustment's made this time. Thomas makes a catch. Flags down. Prince Miller again on the coverage. Almost a carbon copy of the previous play. And now which way are we going to have interference on this one?
I'll tell you one thing, though, Ness. That ball's up in the air for a long, long time.
He almost fair caught it over there.
He put his arm up.
Holding on Georgia. So they'll decline that and take the play. Here's another look.
Thomas is the guy on the outside.
Number 23
and
on the
Miller,
defense.
number 23. There is holding. He's got him by the shirt. I mean, that's good concentration, a good catch.
Number 8, Thomas, is 6'3" and 220. The other kid is 5'8". Miller is only 5'8". Now you know why they're throwing that ball out there twice in a row.
Exactly. Came down with it that time. His first catch good for 23 yards and a Georgia Tech first down. Tech still has 2 timeouts remaining. 30 seconds to play in the half. Bennett. And this one's intercepted at the 5-yard line. The second time today. Now, wait a minute. Nope, he didn't catch it.
That poor decision. Poor decision. You want to throw the ball, and you make up your mind ahead of time. The guy was covered front and back.
Bird was the guy that had the interception, but when he came down, he didn't have the ball. He dropped the ball.
Remember, he's already picked one off today. Playing center field back there and almost got another one. So Georgia Tech's got another chance here.
And they have plenty of time. There's 23 seconds. They have the timeouts up. They have 2 of them. And all they have to do is pick up 10 yards and they're in field goal range and can take the lead.
Travis Bell has kicked a lot of field goals for Georgia Tech over his years. Blitz coming off the corner. Bennett Lofts it again, too deep for anybody. Intended receiver was James Johnson.
He loves to throw that ball high, doesn't he?
Well, the receiver got jammed downfield and he had a little problem getting down there. He had to throw it when he did, and he just threw it to a spot.
Taylor Bennett took a pretty good shot when he let go right there from Donnell Ellerbe, the middle linebacker. Both these quarterbacks have found themselves with some grass stains today on their butts. That's for sure. Travis Bell, his career long, you see, is 51.
Just take a 10-yard pass pattern, right? And in the middle of the field, there's nobody there.
Of course, a field goal would give Georgia Tech the locker room lead. Bennett dropped the ball, picks it up, and down he goes.
Now
And you can forget field position now.
Yeah, now you're out of it. Take a timeout.
Now the clock just winding down.
He's hurt.
4 seconds left, a loss of 7. The one thing that you didn't want to do on that play was what happened. And that is bobble the ball and then take a sack. And on top of it, he's shaken up on the play. Backing up, never got it in his hands, and then it looked like his knee was almost down the first time, and then he got crunched. You can see the look on his face after the hit. So now it's going to be 4th down with 4 seconds left, and a quarterback that's shaken up. And they helping Taylor Bennett to his feet. Now he's going to trot off on his own, which is a good sign.
Yeah, that's good to see.
And they bring out Travis Bell. They're going to give him a shot. Well, a timeout taken first. This will be a long, long field goal. 4 seconds remaining on this final regular season weekend in college football for most teams. But how about in football history? This week in college football history, there was so much crowd noise in Chicago's Coliseum that the birth of the huddle was because of the crowd noise. And Amos Alonzo Staggs says, guys, why don't you back away from the line of scrimmage about 10 yards and kind of grab each other and get in a little bit of a little huddle up thing, and then call a play. And then when you go up there, you're going to know what you're doing. That was the birth of the huddle on this day in college football history.
That makes sense.
And we thank the
Where'd you get that?
National Football Foundation. You know, they send out some cool stuff to us every week.
They got their big dinner coming up in December at the Waldorf.
You'll be looking good in a tuxedo, I'm sure.
Joe Paterno and a bunch of other guys are going to be inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame.
They're going to give Travis Bell, one of the 18 seniors, a crack from 62 yards away here. Kick on the way. Does he have enough? Not quite. Boy, he gave it a run.
He did.
Georgia will take the lead to the locker room. He got all of that one, but it wasn't quite enough. And so a seesaw battle between the Dogs and the Yellow Jackets. And heading to the locker room, Georgia's got the lead. The number 7 team in the country by 2, and Bonnie's with Mark Richt.
Well, Mark, Stafford to Massaquoi worked for you last year in this game. What's up with the connection between those two today?
Well, they're doing a good job of working together. I think Matthews got to be a little bit more sharp throwing the ball. He's made some nice ones, and we just got to keep trying to bang away running the ball. They're going to make us look bad a few times, then hopefully we can split one.
What about Marino, Mark? 5 straight 100-yard games. What do you need to do to open things up for him in the second half?
Well, they're one of the best run defenses in the nation. You just got to keep banging away. And so far, Thomas has been in there when there's been the most amount of room.
How much are you going to think about that missed extra point in the second half?
Well, that's just part of football. We had a high snap, and we just couldn't get it down quick enough for a nice stroke.
Coach, thank you.
All right, Mark and Bonnie. And Georgia with the lead by 2 as we send it to the guys in New York. ESPN's presentation of college football on ABC, presented by Best Buy. We get set to start the third quarter in Atlanta as nightfall rolls in. Georgia 16, Georgia Tech 14, and the Dogs still, having come out of the locker room about 4 minutes ago, still don't know if they have a chance to play for the SEC championship game next week at the Georgia Dome or not. But Kentucky has the lead over Tennessee in overtime. We'll keep you posted on that. But the task at hand right now is Georgia up by 2, having missed an extra point, going against a Georgia Tech team whose quarterback is having his left throwing hand looked at as we speak. And Tech will get the ball first to open the second half from the 10-yard line. Jamal Evans. Evans bottled up nicely and only out to about the 26-yard line. Fellas, I don't think it changes anything for Mark Richt's team right now, whether Tennessee's winning or losing. They got a battle on their hands, and they've been playing this thing for 103 years.
Mark Richt didn't even mention that at halftime, I'm sure. He says, we want to come out and win this ball game, and that's what they're all focused on.
And one thing about all these, both of these teams, there's a whole lot at stake. There's a year at stake. They've got 365 days that they have to live within.
And Georgia, of course, knows that if they win, there would be a BCS Bowl in their future no matter what. Georgia Tech trying to better their bowl situation. And who knows, maybe they're trying to save their coach's job. It's Tashard Choice on the direct snap. Flags are down on the opening play of the quarter. A pickup of 3. And again, now Tashard Choice mixing it up a little bit at the end of the play with Keelan Johnson.
Tackled by Keelan Johnson.
But a penalty marker down on the opening play of the quarter. It's a false start. Our Pacific Life game summary in this one so far, as they call an illegal formation on Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's had pretty good field position. Georgia with more total yardage, and they've had the ball longer. But close game, as the scoreboard would indicate, 16-14.
Time of possession was heavily in favor of Georgia early in the first quarter, but Georgia Tech caught up a little bit.
Taylor Bennett on the sideline, and now we see the third guy taking snaps today, Calvin Booker. He transferred from Auburn. And he'll get his chance right here on the 21-yard line. Choice dropped for a loss. Rennie Curran, a freshman linebacker with a ton of speed, made the stop as we check in with Bonnie.
Well, talking to Chan Gailey, Taylor Bennett does in fact have a left hand injury he sustained on the last play of the half. He didn't ice it or anything during halftime, according to the coach. He said he's going to sort of watch him, even though he's not in there at the moment, sort of assess if that injury is affecting him. Either way, he said look to see Josh Nesbitt quite a bit more, if for nothing else, a little bit more of a change of pace. One other injury update, Adam Oliver, Tech's defensive end, is out with a knee injury. And by the way, if you're wondering what Gailey thought of that interference call at the end of the half, yeah, he thought it was a bad call.
You're not crazy about it, huh? Booker drops and rolls, and I just throws a little shovel pass to Colin Peak. Picked up a little bit of yardage, but still not back to the original line of scrimmage. You guys want to make any adjustments in the second half?
Well, for Georgia, I think Stafford just got to keep your cool. And for Georgia Tech, you know, Tashard Choice is doing well. Keep feeding him the ball.
I'd even let him play as much quarterback as he wants.
Third down. Not the way Georgia Tech wanted to open up the third quarter, if indeed they have a 3 and outs. Third down and 12. Booker in the shotgun. Fires down the middle, and he threw a shot for I think a first down to Greg Smith.
He's going to get a good spot on it.
They got a first down out of it.
Booker had only thrown 2 passes for the year coming into the ball game.
And completed one of them for 9 yards. That's his biggest throw of the year right there.
He's a fourth-year junior who hasn't gotten a lot of playing time, but especially with Taylor Bennett and then getting Nesbitt in and out. Who's in there now?
Nesbitt.
That's Nesbitt.
All right, you can change it and go to the spread type offense.
So Georgia Tech needed 12 on that third down. They got 13. And now it's the freshman Nesbitt out of just down the street in College Park. Running on the left side and spinning his way across the 40. Tough run out to the 43-yard line. Pick up a 6.
He must be watching a lot of Choice's film, because I tell you what, this guy is tough. You talk about when he goes into this hole, watch him just drop his shoulder. This is a quarterback, folks, but a running quarterback. Watch it. Boom. I mean, he delivers a blow and picked up another 4 yards.
At the 43-yard line, there's Calvin Johnson in the mix. on the Georgia Tech sideline today, having already played on Thanksgiving Day. Nesbitt follows his blockers. First down run. Atkins had a hold of him, but he squirted out of there and picked up the first down. The leaders offensively for Georgia Tech, as you might expect. Tashard Choice, 72 yards and a touchdown. Peak, the leading receiver, kind of a little bit of a surprise there for a tight end, including the touchdown catch.
That was his first touchdown of the year.
Right. Well, it would be a happy holiday in the Flats if Georgia Tech could upset the #7 team in the country. They haven't beaten a top 10 team on this field since 1998. Been a long dry spell, and of course they haven't beaten the Dogs in the last 6 years. They trail by 2 here in the third quarter. Nesbitt again, direct run. He got a nice block. He got the corner, and he's all the way down near the 40-yard line. Boy, somebody got a seal block over there for him, and he took advantage of it. I think it was Tashard Choice.
Well, Mike Cox, also number 40, got an excellent block right at the end of the line of scrimmage. Watch number 40. Watch him. Now he's going to hit and then turn. Ties up. Just great blocking at the line of scrimmage.
Mike Cox, they call him the Bull, and his brother Luke transferred here. They call him the Baby Bull. Mike's a handful, 250-pounder. Tashard Choice now, direct snap. Notes Nesbitt, and he's tripped up. Loss of a yard. Randy Curran with the tackle. Boy, what is it with the SEC, huh?
Yes, sir.
Nesbitt, is it an end around coming? Oh boy. And now the throw off it into double coverage for Choice. And a flag down. There's a flag at the line of scrimmage. There's one at the 12-yard line. And we got a laundry list of sins coming up.
Well, Rashad Jones, number 9, is the guy that they throw the flag on. He's the guy that interferes with Choice.
I think it was a lineman downfield back here against Georgia Tech.
That play took forever to develop.
Another one of those fair catch balls.
Yeah. This is a SEC officiating crew. Didn't mention that earlier. May or may not matter to some, but to others it might.
Tuminello, the center, knows.
Clipping. Number 71 on the offense. Pass interference. Number 9 on the defense. Those penalties offset. We will replay second down.
Flanker's going to come back around. He was wide open early, and then the defensive back got back. I mean, the timing was not good on this. The wide receiver went straight down the field. Choice went straight down the field and was wide open, but they just didn't get him the ball when he was open. 2 defensive backs recovered.
So all that having passed, it's Josh Nesbitt on the snap and across the 40 to the 39-yard line. Got a couple. Under 11 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Tight game. Georgia 16, Georgia Tech 14.
Tech's got a problem. I mean, they really do have a problem. The pass that they threw was a pass on a reverse, and it was clipping on the play, but Georgia knows they're going to just run the football.
Yeah, they're thinking they're
sitting with 8 guys up in that box. Grayson, I mean,
well, they don't have anybody that's throwing the football downfield. Now that Taylor Bennett's out, Booker hasn't thrown over 5 passes all year, including the ones here tonight.
They're going to have to cut Nesbitt loose and let him throw pretty soon. He threw a touchdown pass last week. He drops here, sets, fires, got a man, intercepted. Rashad Jones coming the other way. Jones still on his feet. Across the 30 and out to the 32-yard line.
What a heck of an interception by Jones.
Flags down at the end of the play again. You talk about a big play happening almost exactly at the same time that we understand Kentucky has intercepted Tennessee in double overtime. If the Cats get a field goal, they'll win it. And Georgia will go to the SEC title game a week from tonight. 2 interceptions in 2 different cities, about 30 seconds apart.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness number 5 on the offense. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct number 9 on the defense, taking his helmet off on the field of play. Those penalties will offset. It'll be
First down, Georgia, so a lot of offsetting penalties. You'll get a look at this one as Josh Nesbitt, we said pretty soon they're going to have to let him throw, and on 3rd and long, here it comes right at you.
He was hit just as he was throwing the ball. If not, I think Johnson hit him just as he was throwing the ball, and if he hadn't, he needed to get the ball there quicker. The man was open for a little bit.
So the Dogs take over at their own 32 with a 2-point lead. Stafford play action, fires and almost picked off. Gary Guyton got his hands in the way and just couldn't hold it. Guyton's had a nice game. A sack, that pass broken up, and he's been one of the Tech leaders all season long.
Well, Guyton is look, he's playing the linebacker spot. Look, he was going to rush, but then he saw the back going out, and he got right in the line with a quarterback and almost picked that ball off.
It was intended for the fullback, Brandon Sutherland, and never got there.
Well, they don't pick off many. They lead the nation in sacks, and they're 115th in interceptions. They only have 5 on the year.
2nd and 10, toss sweep, Knowshon Moreno. And that's about the best run he's had today. Gets out to the 40-yard line. Vance Walker made the stop, a pickup of 8. And we got a Tech player down. So we have a stoppage in play here. Can't quite see who it is right now. We'll check on it. We'll take a break and be back in just a minute. If you don't think some of the fans' minds are elsewhere, look at the Georgia fans trying to look up in the sky boxes to find out the end of the Kentucky-Tennessee game. That was during our timeout. Now we're back to live action here with their Bulldogs. 3rd down and 2 at the 40-yard line. Knowshon Moreno flushes out of the backfield. He's going to get the throw, and incomplete, in and out of his hands. Was that a lateral?
That's a lateral.
That's a lateral. Burnett's got it down the sideline. Ball is out in the end zone, and it's recovered, I think, by Moreno. Nope, it's still going. It's all the way out. It's a touchback.
I mean, how unlucky can you be? Morgan Burnett, I mean, you talk about a heads-up play.
That was a change of possession. The ball was fumbled from the field of play into the end zone and out of the back of the end zone. The result of that is a touchback. The ball will be put on the 20-yard line, 1st and 10, Georgia.
What a crazy play that was. Let's make sure, first of all, this was a backward lateral. Let's check it out. Yep, we see where he's throwing from.
And that wasn't tipped either.
No question.
It was about a yard and a half behind, and then skipped like a rock out there.
Smart play by Burnett to scoop it up.
The only problem he made was right about here.
Right. Just don't try to do too much. Nice play by the Georgia guy to knock it loose.
Yeah. So Moreno out of there. And
there's one freshman knocking the ball loose from another freshman.
And that means the seniors in the backfield right now for Georgia. 1st down at the 20. As Mark Richt told Bonnie Bernstein, most of our positive yardage on the ground has come when Thomas Brown is in there, and he's in there. Wow. Crazy goings on in the SEC this year, all season long. Stafford off play action, the throws out and completes. Got it out to Kenneth Harris, and a pickup of 13.
They got a flag back in the backfield.
Flag on the play.
And usually the offensive players know, so Georgia, they know it's against them because they're still back there.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 99 on the defense.
No.
That's 15 yards added to the end of the run.
I guess they didn't know.
Vance Walker knows, though, now.
Well, Vance Walker is a little frustrated because, you know, there's like 3 or 4 plays I've watched, just looked at him, and he's being held all the time. That's when he's coming over. He said, man, they're holding me, so I want to do something to get back at him. which is the wrong thing to do.
He's being explained a few things by his head coach, Chan Gailey. Vance Jr. out of Fort Mill, South Carolina. And Georgia Tech 50 yards in penalties now. And the ball moved to the Georgia Tech 49. First down for the Dogs with a 2-point lead here in the third quarter. Brown, he's got an opening. And he's got a first down. Pickup of 11. Quick money. Yeah. The 39. First down. Brown this time is going to be stood up by Anthony Barnes and Darrell Richard, and a loss of a couple.
Again, these defensive linemen, especially the guys in the middle, and Walker just was taken off the field. But, Richard, these guys, I'm telling you, they are making a lot of penetration into the backfield. Watch along the line of scrimmage. Look at them knocking the white shirts back into the runner.
That's why they lead the country in tackles for loss as well as sacks. Now they put Georgia in a second down and 13. Moreno back in there at tailback. The handoff, Moreno in the middle. And he only got past the original line of scrimmage, maybe picked up 3 yards. Beautiful pictures from high above Bobby Dodd Stadium in Atlanta. Brought to you by the DirecTV HD Starship. Well, the weather held up pretty well for us. It started off sunny. It got cloudy and a little bit colder, but everybody's still standing here at Bobby Dodd Stadium in a packed house with a lot of red in it. You can see a lot of red. A lot of Bulldog fans find a way to get in this place every other year.
It really is amazing that all the red jerseys and sweaters and whatever. 3rd and 9,
Stafford. The throw in and out of the hands of Massaquoi. Nice coverage by Morgan Burnett. So the Vols know what they need. A touchdown and a 2-point conversion to win. We'll keep you posted. 4th down, and Brian Mims set to punt. Hangs it high in the air. Might be too deep though. And
across the line.
Across the line. They finally signaled touchback. The back judge took forever to make that call.
He did, didn't he?
He sure did. Georgia Tech will have it at the 20 when we come back. Atlanta Fulton County Zoo, home to the family of giant pandas. Lun Lun and Yang Yang are the proud parents, of course, of Mylan, the 5th panda cub birth in the U.S. in the last 6 years. She's our star attraction in Atlanta. She just had her first birthday.
She looks, I'm telling you, she looks like
she grazes on that bamboo. I know. She kind of like Bob eating Chick-fil-A sandwiches. Calvin Booker's at quarterback for Georgia Tech.
What did you say?
Here's a counter. Rashard Choice and going not far. About 3. It's been tough sledding for number 22 today, but he keeps working at it.
Well, especially in the second half when Taylor Bennett has been out of the ball game. You can't start Calvin Booker, and not have a passing threat. You've got to be able to throw the football down the field. And Georgia right now is just playing run all the way.
Rashard Choice, the first Georgia Tech player with back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, has 74 yards today, including a touchdown run. And again, now Booker will be in the shotgun. All his receivers to the right side. Play action. Booker on the roll and the throw. And a nice throw to James Johnson. First down out to the 48-yard line.
Nice job by John Bond to get outside the pocket. Good throw. That's a big play for Georgia Tech.
You know, we thought that Georgia would know by halftime whether or not they had a chance to play for the SEC title next week in Atlanta. They might have to wait till the end of this game to find out because Kentucky and Tennessee are in the 4th overtime. And here it's a 16-14 game. Matthew Stafford has thrown a touchdown. He's run for 1. Taylor Bennett threw a touchdown to Colin Peak. Rashard Choice scored. And we had a missed extra point. 16-14. The Bulldogs with Mark Richt trying to win their 7th straight in this series. Rashard Choice, direct snap. And to about the 48-yard line. Bonnie?
We know worst comes to worst, they could always have Rashard throw the ball, Brad. Last week, Choice actually gave himself an early birthday present. His first TD pass as a Yellow Jacket, a 17-yarder to Taylor Bennett in last week's game over North Carolina. Choice told me he'd be begging the coaches all year, just give me a shot, I'll make it. And Taylor was laughing. He said, I don't think I have to worry about losing my job because all week he threw the ball so bad, and I was worried in the game he was going to throw a duck and I'd have to knock it down to save him.
Yeah, threw a touchdown pass, and so Bennett, the quarterback's thrown one, rushed for one, and caught one this year. Kind of a strange combination. Here's Choice. Whistles blew that play dead, a penalty marker down. I think Matt Rhodes, right guard, might have come out of his stance. Did away with not having to go the two-point conversion situation in third overtime a few years ago because they had a couple of games that went 7 overtimes. They might have another one of them today. We weren't even planning on it.
I like parts of the college overtime thing. I think they ought to move it back about to the 35-yard line and not make it so easy to score.
Booker in trouble in the pocket, and down he goes. Atkins has got him all wrapped up. The knee hadn't touched until the final whistle.
His knee hadn't touched him until the other 3 guys jumped.
Exactly.
I mean, they kept whacking this guy.
Now he's way back at the 38-yard line. This is going to be a 3rd down and a mile. Georgia Tech with Taylor Bennett, their starting quarterback, hit the helmet of an on-rushing defender in the 2nd quarter. And we could see his reaction. We knew that there was some sting in that hand, and not enough sting in the hand to come out and be able to play quarterback in this 3rd quarter for Chan Gailey.
What probably happened was one of his fingers probably swelled up on
during
him
halftime,
and he couldn't grip the football.
Yep. So now Calvin Booker's on the hot seat, the junior transfer from Auburn. On 3rd down and a whole bunch, and he's going for a whole bunch. Got a man out there, knocked away. It was intended for James Johnson. And Prince Miller made a nice play on the ball at the very last moment.
Well, that showed me a lot of arm, man. I mean, he really threw that ball beautifully.
He's got the arm, and they're throwing at Prince Miller again. Miller gets off the ground and in the air. Miller is only 5'8", so they're throwing a lot of balls over there at him.
Bennett's trying to warm up on the Georgia Tech sideline. So Durant Brooks in the punt. He can air this one out as far as he chooses.
Wow.
And he did. Mikey Henderson. Whoops. Ball hit by a Georgia player. Flag down. Ball in the end zone is loose. And it almost looked like a Georgia player interfered with his own guy, not a Georgia Tech player. But we'll wait and let him unpile.
It looked to me like Georgia Tech player just jumped over and maybe interfered with the opportunity to make a fair catch.
That's what you assume the call would be where the flag is, and they're still trying to unpile bodies. Even the players are trying to help the cause.
You ever seen so many weird bounces in a game?
Well, you got the headlinesman, the back judge, and the side judge. Yeah. They're all in there trying to pull bodies apart. The other officials are back at the 15-yard line saying, okay, we got to call something here. Let's figure it out.
Chan wants it to be a touchdown.
Please give me a touchdown.
We're just going to let Hubert Owens, our referee, straighten all this out for us.
There's going to be some booing here now. A lot of booing.
There could be booing no matter who has the ball.
That's right.
Mark Richt's team 9-2, headed to a BCS bowl if they win. Chan Gailey's team 7-4, hoping to improve their bowl position, and in Chan's case, maybe improve his job security. 3 minutes left in this quarter, 15 remaining after that, and the drama continues to unfold in Lexington as Tennessee has scored in the 4th overtime and picked up the 2-point conversion. Here is finally the call.
There is no penalty for kick catch interference. The receiving team bumped the ball in the end zone, recovered by the receiving team. It is a touchback by rule. 1st and 10.
Wow. After all of that, they picked up the flag.
Here, there was a flag here.
See, it hit the Georgia player.
Yeah,
Georgia Tech avoided the receiver.
Yeah, it was his own man got in his way.
What? If he hits the ball into the end zone and Georgia Tech recovered it, it's a touchdown.
No,
Georgia Tech didn't recover it.
Georgia recovered it.
Georgia recovered the ball.
So the officials got together and said there was no flag on that part of the play.
Crazy bounces from Bobby Dodd Stadium. You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Best Buy at 1614 Georgia. We welcome those of you who've been watching West Virginia and Connecticut. We got a tight one here in Atlanta in the 103rd meeting between the Bulldogs and the Ramblin' Wreck. 16-14, Georgia with a lead with 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter. And they'll work from their own 20-yard line after a strange play on a punt. And Georgia recovering the ball in the end zone for a touchback, gets it back offensively. And Knowshon Moreno has been bottled up all day long by the Georgia Tech defense. Darrell Richard made first contact, and then Philip Wheeler and company joined him on the stop.
And I've said this over and over and over again, but I'm telling you, this defensive line, they're beating Georgia's offensive line off the line of scrimmage. I mean, they're in the backfield. That, again, that's why they lead the nation as far as lost yardage.
Stafford has a word with Sean Bailey and then sends him out to the top of your screen. Play action. He's looking that way and fires a streak to Bailey down the sideline. First down, Georgia.
It's good play, good fake by the young quarterback, and a nice throw.
First down out to the 42-yard line, pickup of 22. The Georgia offensive line, Bob talked about it earlier with Sturdivant, a true freshman. Same thing with Clint Bowling, the right guard, and then a redshirt freshman, Chris Davis. That was the big concern for the Georgia fans at the beginning of the season, but those Bull Pups are Bulldogs now here in week 12, and they're playing like it. Stafford again, play fake, wants it all, airing it out long. He's got Bailey again. Sean Bailey to the 4.
This was a great throw, man. This was a great throw.
This looks like one of those Brett Favre things where he throws it when he's fallen back. You're going to see the receiver against Ward Daniels. This ball just gets out there. He doesn't have to wait for it. This was just a super throw.
Back-to-back throws to Sean Bailey. One for 22. That one for a career-high 55 yards. And it's first and goal, Georgia. Just outside the Georgia Tech 3-yard line. Moreno, the tailback, behind Sutherland, the fullback, on first and goal. And it's the fullback, Sutherland. He knows how to find the end zone. He's done it again. Touchdown, Georgia. Here's a kid that just can smell the end zone when they get down close. Last year, he had 8 rushing touchdowns and 2 through the air and became the first fullback in almost 50 years to lead the team in scoring. And here comes number 36 again, guys.
He's 240 pounds, and I'm going to tell you, he uses it all to get in the end zone.
Andy Bailey hit the left upright with his last extra point. This time the snap is clean. He just tucked it inside the left pipe. So Sutherland, his 16th career rushing touchdown. A captain and a junior out of just up the road about 20 miles in Decula.
Well, got to give him a little sugar. Take a look at this play. This is the one that's set up. Watch as he falls away. He's falling back right there. Who does that remind you of in the NFL?
You got that right.
Play for Green Bay.
I mean, Brett Favre, he does that and he falls away. What a great throw and a strong arm this kid has.
And then one of the captains, Brandon Sutherland, straight ahead, just keeps on plowing, and Georgia Tech couldn't bring him down until he found the goal line. So now it's 23-14, Georgia in front.
Yes, Tenuta told us yesterday about one thing that,
deep.
One thing that he worries about with this defense, and they get a lot of sacks, they lead the nation, and they make a lot of tackles in the backfield. That they do. He said, but there's one problem we have is we give up the big play too often. And again, it happened.
Well, when you're playing his defense, Georgia Tech's defense, and you can't run against it, and you have all these blitzes, the thing you try and do is throw down the field on the outside guys, the two corners. You know you're going to hit like 20% of it, 30%, but when you do hit it, you're going to hit it big like that.
Bo Stanzel, one of 3 kickers used by Georgia today, set to kick off. Got his leg well into this one, way over in the corner, a yard deep by Jamal Evans, and he'll bring it out. Evans out to about the 24 before he's stacked up by the Georgia Tech special teams, led by Sean Chappis, who made the stop. So now Georgia Tech, the question is who's going to be the quarterback. We are getting word about the Tennessee-Kentucky game. It's over. Tennessee survives in 4 overtimes. They'll play LSU in the SEC title game in Atlanta next Saturday night. Now Georgia knows that the SEC championship game is not within their control, but a BCS bowl berth is if they win here today. Taylor Bennett's back at quarterback, and he's loading it and firing it deep sideline for Earls. Diving attempt made incomplete, but a flag. And it looks like we're going to have a holding call or a pass interference on Brian Evans.
How many holding calls or pass interference calls have we had today?
Well, we've seen a lot of passes.
Pass interference. Number 3 on the defense. That penalty was 15 yards from the previous spot. An automatic first down.
We've seen a lot of passes thrown to the wide receivers on the corners, and the corners are playing it tough. Earl, stop and go. And that was the ball was in the air.
Yep.
Now he can jam him as long as he's not past him. He wasn't past him, but the ball was in the air.
You know what? In reality, it was a good play because if he doesn't bump him, it's a touchdown.
Yeah.
Or it could have been a touchdown because he was definitely beat.
So Tennessee, there's the standings. Georgia at 6-2, Tennessee at 6-2, but Tennessee wins the tiebreaker by virtue of the last loss that Georgia had was 6 weeks ago. They've won them all since.
Yeah, Phil Fulmer's done a nice job bringing that program to where it is. A little heat earlier in the year.
First down for Georgia Tech. Bennett sets and fires a deep out, and this one's complete. Nice throw to the 42-yard line. Same guy Corey Earls working against. Same guy, Brian Evans. Minute 17 remaining here in the third quarter. If you've been watching another game, possibly West Virginia, UConn, possibly Tennessee and Kentucky, we welcome you to Atlanta. The turnover story today has hurt Georgia Tech as the interception by C.J. Bird thwarted an early drive. And Josh Nesbitt trying to make something happen. He had that pass picked off as well by Jones. And Georgia has got 2 rushing touchdowns and 1 by Stafford through the air. And out to Tashard Choice trying to change things up for Georgia Tech again. And he's down to the 30-yard line and a first down. John Saunders is going to tell you all about Tennessee and Kentucky right now.
Brad, I'm actually going to show you what happened as you talked about it. This is the 4th overtime. Eric Ainge has to go 40 yards to Quentin Hancock, who beats his man, takes it in. They do get the 2-point conversion, but Kentucky scores. Now their chance for a 2-point conversion. Andre Woodson is pulled down from behind. The fumble doesn't matter, and Tennessee wins. And as you say, they go to the SEC championship game to face LSU.
Back to the action here. Tashard Choice on the inside handoff. Got rattled by Rennie Curran, the linebacker. Georgia Tech trying to drive down and close the gap on this game. That might have been the last play of the third quarter. So Georgia Tech down 9. And they know what they have to do in the fourth quarter if they're to snap the 6-game losing skid against their arch rivals from Athens. And that's the end of 3. Chan Gailey. He could certainly use 9 or 10 points in the fourth quarter. It would make him feel a lot better. It would make the fans feel better too. But Georgia, BCS bowl bound if they win. We got a quarter to play. Stick around.
What do you have? What do you have? Welcome back to Atlanta. College football is here.
They walked that dog all the way. There's a Frosty Orange. That's from the varsity. That is an institution in Atlanta. If you've never been there, make sure you make a stop. Walk the dog all the way, a bag of rags, a brown cow, a Frosty Orange, you'll be all set. That sounds pretty good right now.
Wait, the first one was what? A bag of rags?
Yeah, I know you walked the dog all the way yesterday. I heard about it.
Ness lives here in Atlanta, so he's been there several times.
Second down and 10. Handoff out of the shotgun to Tashard Choice. And Tashard picks up about 3 yards. We're in the fourth quarter. We welcome you back to Bobby Dodd Stadium in Atlanta. We added an extra Nestler. She's going to explain the cover 2 to us here in just a minute. We're just trying to brighten the booth up a little bit for the holidays.
Yeah.
And Shay Greasy, happy birthday to you today.
Having her birthday, and nice to have you home.
Paul just got done having his 45th wedding anniversary with Beverly, and she wanted a one-way trip somewhere without him. I don't know if he gave it to her.
Smart lady.
Yeah, that's right. Very smart lady. It's third down. Georgia Tech definitely needs this one. Bennett, quick slant, too low for Earls. He's thrown so many good passes today, and then about every third throw, it's one like that. And so that ends a possibility, but it brings out the field goal unit. Travis Bell will try to close the gap, try to make it 23-17. Travis Bell, 60 career field goals. Came in with 312 career points. He's added to that today with a couple of extra points. This one will be from 44 yards away. Very important kick. Spot is down. The kick is on the way, and it is right down Peachtree. 14-10 remaining in the ball game. Georgia Tech has cut the lead down to 6. The kickoff back to Georgia is coming up, and when we come back, we'll visit a legend, and he'll call a couple of plays for us. Larry Munson and company when we return to Atlanta in a minute. I have switched booths. I moved over a couple of slots, a radio booth that I've shared with this man that I'm patting on the shoulder here. 86 years young, Larry Munson, the legendary voice of the Georgia Bulldogs, in his 42nd year. I figured I'd come over and hang out with Muntz for a couple of plays, as he only did home games this year in Athens, but this is obviously as close to home as you're going to get, about 70 miles away from his Athens home. So he's been here for 42 of these battles between the Dogs and the Yellow Jackets. And now Georgia Tech set to kick as they trail by only 6 now, and we're going to let Larry take over for me. I need a break.
Our deep single man back around the 6 or 7. He kicks with the wind, and he kicked it a mile. High and deep, going to come down to the 7. Asher Allen to the 15 to the 20, trying to cut back in the middle. They'll eat him up around the 29.
They eat him up at about the 29.
23-17.
Larry would probably say clinging. We're holding on for dear life. They know now that Tennessee has won, so Georgia won't be in the SEC title game.
Dogs in the huddle. We are on our own 29. The lead is 23-17. Thomas Brown is a running back. Stafford underneath, 3 receivers stacked deep outside the right tackle. Tech shifts a little to the right themselves. Stafford looking. Tech's in a 5-man line. One of our receivers back and forth in motion. Stafford going to pitch that ball to Thomas Brown. One man got in. Spilled it upside down, back about 6-7 yards behind the line.
So a man who has been every word being hung on by Georgia fans for 42 years. I've shared a booth with him in the past. He's been a friend of mine for 28 years. Here you go, Muntz. That's for after the game.
Thanks, Brett.
I'll see you, partner.
Tech came in there with 3 down linemen there, had 4 linebackers in the game. Just, again, so much penetration. It's tough to run the football on them.
Second down, about 18 now to go. We are inside our own 25 and having trouble moving it at all. Our lead is down to 6. A lot of time to play. Stafford hands it to Brown. Here comes Brown for 15, 20 yards. Coming over here to the sideline of the 40, the 45, the 50, the 45. They'll run him out of bounds. Little Thomas Brown, who really scoots it.
So Thomas Brown, 33 yards And Georgia with a big, big play there.
Well, what happens is you hold him and you hold him and you hold him. And once you get 6 and 7 guys on the line of scrimmage, watch what happens. As soon as Brown gets through the hole, he's wide open to run to the outside. Philip Wheeler, number 41, is a linebacker in the middle that they tied up. And then Brown just gets back to the outside.
Isn't it amazing that Brown, the senior, has been the star today, not the flashy redshirt freshman, who's in there now, by the way, Marino, the tailback. I want to thank Larry Munson and Eric Zier, Neil Williamson, and the whole crew from WSB Radio over there. That was kind of fun. Had to give Munson that cigar.
We wondered what you were giving him.
We've been trading cigars for about 28 years.
Boy, sounds a little younger than yours.
Does it?
We were wondering what you were giving him for after the game. You know, my partner over here,
I thought you were giving him a bud.
That would be your problem. At the 41-yard line, second down and 8. 6-point lead, 12:35 to go.
Impressed with these freshman offensive linemen that have been playing pretty well against this aggressive defensive line.
There, Marino found a little crease into the secondary, and he's got a first down. Gary Guyton finally tracked him down, but he got 10. And they'll move the sticks.
Those offensive linemen, I'm talking about Sturdivant and Davis. Valesco, the center, is the senior, the fifth-year senior that's kind of keeping that offensive line together. Bowling and Adams. These 5 up here, 63 is Davis. Adams is 67. 86 is the tight end, Chandler.
If Georgia scores on this drive, it's going to be a long ways back for a Georgia Tech offense that is not a quick strike group. Marino stops, plants, and gets planted. He lost yardage. Darrell Richards stayed home and made the stop.
Marino on the carry. Tackle made by number 95.
SEC news and notes. I'm sure you all know about LSU. Their loss to Arkansas. Another game that went forever. Tennessee defeated Kentucky today in 4 overtimes, so they'll play LSU in the SEC championship game. Tim Tebow, the numbers on him pretty impressive.
How about Tim Tebow? You know, we're talking about all these guys that are making a run for the Heisman with McFadden and Matt Flynn. Tebow's got numbers that dwarf any of those guys.
He's a sophomore, though.
Second down and 11. The toss to Brown, and Thomas Brown down the sideline. He's gone. Touchdown, Georgia.
And didn't we just see on the sideline Marino, number 24, slamming his helmet down because he wasn't in the ball game? It's not his day tonight. It's not his night this time because it's Brown.
And this is the offensive line you were talking about. Look at the blocking and take a look at Sutherland, 36. I mean, he's just screening off. Once Brown gets to the outside, there's nobody there. Well, that's just outstanding blocking. And again, like you were talking about, Bob, they've got 3 freshmen on that offensive line. How good are these guys going to be next year and the year after that?
2 of those guys are true freshmen and 1 is a redshirt.
Georgia's going to go for 2 here. They capped a 71-yard drive in 6 plays. Brown flanking Stafford in the gun. Stafford rolls to the end zone and caught for the 2-point conversion by Kenneth Harris. So Georgia tacks on 2 more. 31-17. Georgia in front. Can they make it 7 straight wins? I bet you Larry Munson's certainly hoping so, and he probably called that last play better than I did. As we head to break, it's Muntz in his 42nd year.
Toss sweep to Brown. Needs a block. There goes Brown outside. 15, 20 yards. Thomas Brown, touchdown. Far down in the right corner. We suddenly did something on that line of scrimmage, and we got...
Beautiful look at Midtown Atlanta from high above. And not such a pretty sight as Thomas Brown scored. Stafford with a 2-point conversion, and now it's a 2-touchdown lead for the Georgia Bulldogs, ranked 7th in the country, knowing that a BCS Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, more than likely in their future. Now that the SEC title game has gone away, it'll be Tennessee and LSU, and that one, Georgia at 10-2 would be in a wonderful position to head to the Sugar Bowl.
Did you say you worked with Larry Munson, son?
We did one game together.
Yeah?
A long time ago. Two play-by-play guys don't get along that well. Jamal Evans from the 5. And only to about the 22. And we'll be there. Thanks, Matt. First down, Georgia Tech. They're down 2 touchdowns. They're going to run it or try to, and that didn't go anywhere. Let's check in with Bonnie.
Well, Brad, Georgia's defense is about as good in as good as a position as they've been all year to try to shut down Tech in this last quarter. Early on, Brad, you alluded to this before. Young guys like Akeem Dent, Rennie Kern were just starting to develop, really weren't contributing that much. But now that they've gotten a handle on the defense, Georgia's got every line being able to rotate several guys in and out, something they've been able to do on the D-line for a while, but it's really been a luxury for the linebackers and guys in the secondary, and you've got a whole bunch of fresh legs on Georgia's defense right now.
They're playing very well, and they're looking at Taylor Bennett off play action, throw deep to the outside, and he got it out there. Complete? Nope, incomplete. Corey Earls, I thought he had it, but it was a one-hopper. You know, listening to Matt talking about Pat White, Bob, you talked about Matt Ryan. Of course, we'll see him next week. You think about Heisman's and you think about some of these guys. That's for sure that they're in the mix.
You look at Tebow's numbers, and they're as good as anybody's. Of course, Dixon getting hurt. He was leading Oregon as well as anybody. McFadden had a great game last night. I think Pat White, you know, he's got a couple games left to play.
Yep.
You know, it hasn't been one of those years where there's been a favorite and everybody's talked about it all year. It's kind of been nice just to let the thing play out.
Bennett throws behind his intended receiver, but there's a flag at the line of scrimmage on the far side. That was a third down throw.
I know you two guys have a vote. Have you just, I mean, I'm not asking you to divulge it now, but have you getting close to deciding?
I wait till December 2nd.
Yeah, I agree.
Number 29 on the defense. That penalty was 5 yards from the previous spot.
Wow, that gives Tech another chance. Third down and shorter. You talk about the ballots. They went out about a week ago or so, and there's an official Heisman ballot. That's a picture of Bob's. Mine's at home on my desk just waiting for the Sunday after the last game.
You can do it by ballot or you can do it online.
Right.
And really, I haven't known who I was going to vote for.
I'm still not sure.
Well, things are starting to shape up. You know, you want to narrow it down to 4 or 5. And then you vote for 3, the top 3 places.
Taylor Bennett, the quarterback, out as a wide receiver. Tashard Choice with a direct snap, and Tashard Choice all the way down to the 46-yard line. Big run for Tashard right into the Georgia bench.
Well, this is one of the best plays they've had all night long with Tashard Choice in the quarterback slot. And just take a look at the blocking along the line of scrimmage. Why Georgia didn't get to the outside, I don't know, but they were blocked pretty well by not only by the line, but also by the fullback.
Tashard Choice goes over 100 yards for the 18th time in his career, which matches Robert Levette's all-time school record. And more importantly, he's put Georgia Tech in position now on the Georgia side of the 50 to maybe get something going here with under 10 minutes to play. Bennett, plenty of time, lofts it down the sideline, jump ball, incomplete. And again, Demarius Thomas, the big wide receiver, working on the smaller secondary of Georgia, but that's broken up, and it'll be second down and 10. You know, you think about Tashard Choice and whether he is able to help his team come back and win, but you guys, we have seen a lot of Mike Hart at Michigan, and I think if you took a winged helmet and put it on this kid, or you put a Georgia Tech old gold and white helmet on Mike Hart, you almost wouldn't know the difference. They play so hard.
And even when you sit down and talk with him and do an interview with him, they're almost the same way.
Here he is in direct snap formation again. Going to go off the left side, and he got it to about the 44-yard line, pickup of a couple more.
With the tackle.
A couple of plays ago.
Watch your quarterback out here now.
How about that? Grease, you probably threw a few of those, didn't you? On an end around to Warfield or something?
Taylor Bennett lined up at flanker.
Did you ever throw a block?
Oh, of course. On the reverses, yeah. I threw my body in there.
Huh?
With reckless abandon.
I just took care to make sure my head didn't get hit by any knees.
So you'd throw that little body of yours in there and they threw it back out again.
I threw it pretty low, too. I blocked them around their ankles.
It was a huge third down, 3rd and 8. Bennett fires to the outside, complete, first down, Thomas. And they keep the drive going. They get it down to the 35-yard line, pickup of 9. Reminder, time permitting, after the game, John, Greg, and Doug will be in New York and bring you the Dell post-game report with all the scores and highlights, all the theatrics from Lexington and the other big games going on today. And look ahead to tonight's matchup in the Big 12 in Kansas City between Missouri and the Jayhawks of Kansas, ranked 4-2. Here at 7th-ranked Georgia. If they can hold on, they'll move up that ranking.
They'll move up. They're 7 right now. They'll move up at least to 6.
Maybe 5.
Maybe 5.
Depending on what else happens around the country. First down for Georgia Tech.
And there's still 9 minutes to go in this ball game. They're only down 14.
Choice, tough yards, maybe a couple. I don't think anybody in the country thought those two coaches would be squaring off in something this big. Again, Bennett, the quarterback, flanks out wide to the left side to Tashard Choice. Again, in the direct snap and trying to cut it outside, and does inside the 30. And he's got a first down. Tashard Choice bumped out of bounds, but he got a first down and a pickup of 11 more.
That game tonight is going to be played in Kansas City.
Right.
Every time I think of Kansas City, there's one guy I think of, and that's Hank Stram. Here we go.
Our Pacific Life game summary. Tashard Choice, the great cutback run, 144 yards and a touchdown. Matthew Stafford has looked very good today, including the touchdown throw to Massaquoi and a 2-point conversion a couple of minutes ago to give his team a 2-touchdown lead. Choice comes out. Jonathan Dwyer, the freshman's going to do the honors on the direct snap. And Dwyer gets down to about the 21-yard line.
No, you say you worked with Munson. Did you ever work with Hank?
Absolutely worked with Hank Stram. In fact, when Jack Buck did the World Series, I went into the Monday Night Radio booth with Hank. And I always loved it because I like doing things just like Jack did, because Hank invariably would say, "They're going left, Jack. They're going left, Jack." And Jack would say, "They give it off on the right side." It never failed. And so Hank would say, "They're going left, Brad. They're going left all the way, Brad." And I go, "And they give it off on the right side." God rest his soul.
Hank was one of my favorites.
Second down and 8. Here's a handoff. Dwyer, and he's stopped for no gain. Jonathan Dwyer, they think a lot of this freshman who's done a nice job this year. Came in with almost 400 yards rushing, but number 21 so far, he ain't number 22.
Yeah, and 22's back out there again. He just walks back on the field, give him a little blow. This is no field goal area here. This is all 4 down territory all the way.
Clock continues to work its way. It'll be under 7 minutes when they snap it this time. 11th play of the Georgia Tech drive, and a 3rd down and 8. Every 3rd down is huge from here on out.
They're going to go left, Brand. They're going to go left, Brand.
And they're going to throw, Paul. The quick throw incomplete, and it is 4th down. Demarius Thomas, Asher Allen was covering. And Georgia Tech is maybe down to their final play. You never know. It could be that way. Taylor Bennett looking to the sideline. He'll stay out there. Chan Gailey and John Bond making the call. And here's the 4th down of the year for Georgia Tech. 6 out of 13 on the season. They have to get it all the way to the Georgia 12-yard line. The drama builds, and so does the crowd noise. Bennett in the gun. Earls crosses in motion. Taylor Bennett, maybe the throw of his year, is coming up. High and incomplete. Georgia will take over on downs.
He had it too. If he would have stayed with the guy that was breaking inside, he had it early, and then he saw it late and overthrew it.
Georgia takes over. Georgia Tech might be out of chances with 6:43 remaining. On a 4th down, Bennett. Too high, incomplete. Great promo. That's what's coming up next. 8 o'clock Eastern time from Kansas City. Here it's 31-17. Georgia Tech down 2 touchdowns. And Georgia just would like to eat up 6:43 on the clock. Knowshon Moreno. Good for Eric Ainge.
He's got to have
been much maligned at times.
Yeah, I'm happy for him, but it's got to have an asterisk.
With the 7 touchdowns?
Yeah, overtime, short field.
You know, it just, you know, when you look at it, even like the LSU game, I mean, it's like 50 points you give up, but you got 2-3 overtimes, and you're giving up 21 points or more, or 23 points in the overtime.
Here, Georgia with a 2nd down and 7. Georgia Tech has used one of its timeouts. They've got 2 more chances to stop it. What they want to do right now is stop any further progress by the Georgia offense and try to come up with a football somehow, either on downs or a turnover. Here's a toss. Marino inside. He's got the 1st down. Big run there, and that'll eat up some more clock, a pickup of 10. Let's take a look at our best by playbook, and we will turn it over to Bob Griese.
Well, one of Georgia's touchdowns, the wide receiver just going to run a slant in the end zone. Play action fake, go to fake it to the deep man. Fakes it deep, sets up, hangs it to the outside. He stays away from the inside safety. Just good practice, good execution. Mark Richt has been a very successful coach teacher of quarterbacks, young quarterbacks. Well, you know, he went to the University of Miami, and it all started there.
As a backup to Jim Kelly.
Backup to Jim Kelly.
Marino, another big run, and penalty markers down. We'll check the flag here, as Marino had another good run, and he's warmed up since Thomas Brown took it down the sideline for the touchdown.
Yeah,
this one's going to be a holding call.
Thomas Brown will make you warm up.
That's true. You know, we talked about Chan Gailey. A lot has been speculated about his job security. You talk about the hot seat, and Chan's got to be one of those that's feeling a little bit of the warmth. Houston, not a big win yesterday over LSU, but still, Carl Dorella, UCLA, Tommy Bowden. Tommy's been on the hot seat at Clemson for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, 1 week up, 1 week down, 1 week up, 1 week down. Coach Dobot at Washington State. But of course, there's not only hot seats, but just in the last couple of days, there's become a lot more empty seats. And Bill Callahan fired after the debacle against Colorado. Ed Orgeron fired at Ole Miss. Phil Bennett, we knew earlier, was going to play out a string. Guy Morris, Lloyd Carr resigned. Dennis Franchione resigned probably before being fired. And then you think about this guy, and I talked with Wayne Hogan, the associate athletic director at Georgia Tech. I said, what's the company line going in? He said, everything will be evaluated when the season's over. I said, Wayne, the season's going to be over at 7 o'clock tonight. And he said that's when the evaluation begins.
The bottom line is Chan Gailey is a good football coach and a good man. He may not have the personality of some. He may not have had the results here at Georgia Tech, but he's been to a bowl game every year he's been here. And this is not a football factory. This is an institution of higher learning, and I hand the congratulations to him.
Georgia's sideline, the water girl happens to be sleeping with the head coach. that's Catherine. That's Mark Richt's wife. And here's Noshawn Marino trying to take it outside. Got the corner. Nice run by Marino. Boy, he's done a big job on this last drive. And Coach Richt has always made it a family affair. That's Catherine. They've got 4 kids, Jonathan and David, Zach and Anya. And Jonathan's going to Clemson as a quarterback and signed with Coach Bowden over there. So, you know, the perception of Mark Richt, it's amazing. We talked about Chan Gailey a little bit. It seems like everybody in this state absolutely loves Mark Richt. And on the other hand, there's just Chan Gailey is not as appreciated as Mark Richt is. I guess I'll put it that way.
Well, it's the personality. It's just the it's just how the reaction. I mean, some guys don't have the outgoing personality. Chan's quiet, and Mark's quiet, but he's very open and is a loving person and cares about people.
So Mark Richt, who way back at the end of the Tennessee game decided it was time for everybody, including himself, to have some more fun this year.
Fernando Velasco, our center, said it best. He says, you know, the black jersey's fun and the celebrating's fun. He says, but it's not fun unless you win, and that's the whole thing.
And they have been winning. This will be their 6th straight victory since that Tennessee loss. They'll be 10-2 when this one's over. We've got 4.5 minutes remaining. And again, you look in on a diminishing crowd at Bobby Dodd Stadium, and for the most part I think it's Tech fans that have evacuated because the Georgia fans will still be able to party a little bit when this one's over. Atlanta has never looked better than our shots we're getting from the DirecTV HD Starship. And thanks for being along with us tonight. Great pictures of Atlanta as we're right off North Avenue and just down Peachtree Street, basically. And you say, wait a minute, Peachtree. Everybody says, just go down Peachtree. The only problem is, even if you live here, did you know that there's basically about anywhere from 55 to 200, I've heard different things. There are at least 55 streets in Atlanta with the word Peachtree in it.
I believe it.
And there's a lot of one-ways, and there's a lot of streets that start as a peach tree and end as something else. So if you're driving down here, be careful. 4th down and short. And Georgia, with 4:33 remaining, will punt the ball away. So Tech finally got the stop they needed. Tyler Evans with a fair catch, and he'll take it back at the 21-yard line. Well, Georgia Tech's got it back. The problem is they're out of timeouts, and they're 2 touchdowns behind. Bennett, deep ball for Johnson, incomplete. Asher Allen had a better play on it than the wide receiver did. In Kansas, if you did rank them, they were something like 40th. Bennett in trouble. Oh, threw one that almost got his tight end beheaded. Colin Peak, and Colin's going to peek at the ground and say, yikes, that hurt.
Oh, he got hammered. I mean, just you talk about perfect timing on hitting a man as he catches the ball.
How about that game tonight? Kansas. Have you seen Kansas play?
I haven't seen a whole game, I don't think.
I haven't seen Kansas, but until somebody beats them, and I got to start liking them. I mean,
I think everybody's starting to like them now.
Yeah,
well, who do you like tonight?
Well, I got to like Kansas.
How about you?
I think I'll go with Kansas too.
I'm going with
Mizzou.
Mizzou.
All right.
Oh, Mizzou. Oh, Mizzou.
Bennett back. Throws complete. First down. That'll stop the clock momentarily to move the chains. Georgia Tech with a 14-yard pickup. And they're having to pick up their offense right now because they're out of timeouts. You just joined us. They trail Georgia by 14. It would be Georgia's 7th straight win in this series. And that's something that Georgia Tech folks are not happy about at all. Bennett sets, throws deep down the left side, and flags down. Asher Allen and Corey Earls are tied up and tangled up down there. So penalty marker down.
I don't think you're allowed to throw an elbow at a guy. He's running down the field to get him off the pass pattern. he just nailed him in the head.
Asher Allen looking up there, watching the Jumbotron.
What did they do wrong?
Pass interference. Number 2 on the defense. That penalty is 15 yards from the previous spot. It carries an automatic first down.
Well, Asher Allen is upset about this, so watch him. Here it comes. Watch his right arm. Bink.
So Georgia Tech gets first down at midfield.
First and 10, Georgia Tech.
Well, they need a quick strike here, and then there's still a possibility of an onside kick. It's a 2-touchdown difference, but they need a big play pretty soon. Bennett in the shotgun. Here comes the pressure, and he has to get rid of it, and it's tipped by Asher Allen, who came on the corner blitz. And Bonnie's got a special guest, I think.
You guys had me all psyched out about Uga. You told me to bend down and put my face right near him, and you said he was going to bite my face. Oh, he's so precious. Uga, what do you think? What do you think about this game, buddy? This is the defining moment in my career. I just want you to know I'm talking to Uga.
Oh, boy.
Okay,
You know,
so the 7 straight wins, your thoughts on the keys? He said something about Stafford and a young offensive line and Brown coming back, something like that.
I'm not sure, but I think he's got one black eye and one red eye.
He does. He has one red eye.
Meanwhile, a flag down. And
the nice part about it, he understood everything Bonnie said.
I think we had a leg whip penalty and an ejection on the play of Trey Dunman for Georgia Tech. So instead of having a first down at midfield, it's 2nd down and 25. I should say, instead of having a 2nd and 10 at midfield, it's a 2nd and 25. So way back, just when they had something go their way with the pass interference on Asher Allen, they end up going the wrong direction, and they're back now with a 2nd 25. Matthew Stafford looking on, trying to go to 2-0 as a Georgia quarterback against Georgia Tech. Taylor Bennett trying to come up with some kind of play to save the game. Down the sideline, incomplete. Another flag flies in, and it's Prince Miller this time with Corey Earls.
And these, you got 2nd and 25, and you hold a guy. Now because you get a penalty, and you get an automatic first down.
Number 23 on the defense. On an eligible receiver doing a legal forward pass play. That penalty is 10 yards from the previous spot and carries an automatic first down.
Oh, so they get a first down out of it, too. So we go back down to Bonnie.
All right, I found out about the red eye situation. His left eye is red because a couple months ago, he was itching it so badly. He almost scratched a hole in his left eye, and so he had a cornea transplant. That's why his left eye is red. But the prognosis for Uga is good, fans at home. So don't worry, he'll be just fine.
The long line of Sonny Siler's white Bulldogs. The Georgia mascot, one of the most popular in all of sports, probably. This pass incomplete. I was just to say, August 6th, try some Visine.
I feel a lot better knowing that. When Jim
feel a lot better.
I do. I feel a lot better.
He's going to ice down now. It's getting late in the game. He's going to go to 86 wins, which still is far and away.
When Mark Richt was the quarterback, the backup for Jim Kelly, who was the head coach at Miami?
Howard Schnellenberg.
Who was the quarterback coach?
That's a good question.
Earl Morrall.
Oh, that's right. That's right, Earl Morrall. Yeah, you learned from some good ones, didn't you?
Yeah, you did.
So 2nd down and 10, Georgia Tech. Play action, Bennett in trouble. Down he goes. The last thing they need is a sack. And Jeremy Lomax is the guy that comes up with it.
That one hurt. I'm going to tell you, that one hurt. He is really slow getting up. They beat him up tonight.
He hurts all over. You're right.
Oh man, this is one of those shots where you not only are you getting hit, but you're stepping into the hit. Here he goes, steps up, and then watch, boom.
And Tashard Choice had just gotten a good block on Donnell Ellerby, the middle linebacker, and then Taylor Bennett, who's on the sideline now, walked right into the sack. So Calvin Booker back at quarterback. Been musical chairs at quarterback for Georgia Tech. Booker down the middle. Oh, and he hit Greg Smith right in the middle of the 5, and he dropped it.
Yeah. Take a look at this, boys.
ESPN All-State standings. You can get LSU out of that top spot.
Yeah,
either Kansas or Missouri will fall. Georgia's going to move up.
Yeah, look at Georgia. They're going to move up to 6 because Arizona State got beat. They're going to move up at least there. Now, look at all the teams above them. They only have one loss. Now, they don't have to go play another ball game. So they're going to be ranked 6th, maybe 5th if LSU drops below them, and maybe not. So they're going to move up. They don't have to play another game. They're ranked higher than Tennessee and maybe higher than the 2 teams that are playing in the SEC championship game.
Well, there's a story maybe of the Georgia Tech season right there. 4th down, had to have a play, and ended up tumbling for a sack. And Tebow a couple more throws for scores and one more rushing touchdown. So he continues to pile up statistics. Georgia Tech out of timeouts. Georgia takes over on downs. Thomas Brown, big day for him, the senior. And a pickup of 5 more. Philip Wheeler made the stop defensively.
Let me ask you a question. If we didn't have what we have now, the BCS and the final 2 going to the championship game, say we had an 8-team playoff, 8 teams. Who is the hottest team right now, and who would you think would win the championship?
Southern Cal.
Well, Hawaii's pretty hot.
Georgia's pretty hot.
Georgia's pretty hot. I think whoever wins in Kansas City tonight will be sizzling.
Yeah.
And Coach Rick getting congratulated on the sideline already.
They got to beat Oklahoma next week.
Right.
But I think University of Southern California, since they've got Booty back and some of their other guys that were hurt earlier in the year, they're playing pretty good football right now. Remember at the beginning of the year when we were just starting this long road, all the prognosticators had, every one of them had USC in the championship game, and it was against LSU, maybe this one, maybe that one, but everybody had Southern California.
All right, let me just, because I said this a few weeks ago. What happens if Kansas gets beat tonight and Hawaii goes on and goes undefeated? They will be the only undefeated team in the nation. Now, they're not going to play for the championship game, but don't you think that they deserve a BCS bowl?
They will. They'll probably be in the Sugar Bowl.
They still have to beat Washington.
Right.
Here's a fullback up the middle, and a first down run, and that'll just about ice it with a minute and change remaining in the ball game. And you wonder now if it's a minute and 8 seconds remaining in the coaching career of Georgia Tech for Chan Gailey. And again, the speculation about his job security has swirled around him. You could just tell it was kind of wearing on Chan's face yesterday when we talked to him. At least I felt that way. And, you know, as Bob said, in 6 years he's done a nice job. 11 straight winning seasons Georgia Tech's had here, but he's taken them to a bowl game every year. But the bowls haven't been big enough. And then on the other side, going 0-6 against Georgia when that guy's going to be 7-0, and he says, you're not getting me with Gatorade. But get a load of this. Mark Richt, when this final gun goes off, will be 71-19 in 7 seasons. There aren't many guys that can win an average of 10 games a year.
Won 10 games 5 of the 7 years.
2-time SEC Coach of the Year, and he's dancing around because he doesn't want anything dumped on him.
There's a veteran
Chevrolet
coach.
Players of the game, Thomas Brown. Oh, they got Willie Martinez instead. The defensive coordinator just got a backfill. That's an assistant coach taking one for the head coach.
There you go.
Our Chevrolet Players of the game. Thomas Brown, what a day for the senior. 139 yards. Tashard Choice, 134 and a touchdown in a losing effort. Too bad for Tashard and 18 seniors for Georgia Tech. They will have never tasted victory over the Georgia Bulldogs. But speaking of tasting things, you know, you might get up in the morning to grab your Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and it could be a sweet victory for Georgia over Georgia Tech, 7 straight.
You might read something like what?
What, maybe sweet as sugar?
Yeah.
Let's go down to Bonnie with a winning coach.
7 straight wins now over Georgia Tech, Mark. You know, initially we didn't think the running game was getting going. How did Stafford open up the passing game?
Well, we just took some shots, you know, a couple deep balls were the difference. And then, you know, we kept hammering the ball, and finally something spit out of there, which was good.
Well, Thomas Brown did get the running game going. Why was it his day?
You know, I don't know. You call a lot of runs, and sometimes there's space for one guy, not the other. And it looked like that's what happened for Thomas early. And then Noshawn had a couple good runs, too. But it was Thomas Brown's day, which I'm happy for him.
Tech's got that blitzing defense. You were probably wondering how your 3 freshmen on the O-line were holding up. Give me your report card.
They did all right. It's just so tough to really look good against a defense like that. But you just hope every once in a while you make a big play, and I think we got a couple big runs and a couple big throws, and that was it.
Finally, Mark, with Tennessee winning today in quadruple overtime, you're out of the SEC title game, but how do you like your BCS bowl hopes?
Well, I would think we got a very good chance of that just from what I'm hearing, but, you know, only time will tell. We won't be playing a game for quite some time now. We'll just have to watch and see what happens.
All right, Coach, appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Mark Richt, unbeaten against Georgia Tech in his 7-year career. Wins it again today, 31-17. That's the final. For Bob Greasy, Paul McGuire, Bonnie Bernstein, Brad Nessler saying so long from Atlanta. Final score, Dogs 31, Georgia Tech 17. Don't forget, coming up tonight, 8 o'clock, Missouri and Kansas for the Big 12 North title.